Welcome to DAX Machina. Join us as we explore the mysteries of this world. Cryptids, monsters, macabre tales, and horror stories abound. Could they be true? Are monsters real?
Good evening, folks, and thank you for joining us for another edition of DAX Machina. We appreciate you guys joining us on this wild Wednesday night. Joining me in the house tonight is Robbie Rip Rains, Kerry Pocket Doc Davis, Anthony Pitbull Canatella, and myself, D.A. Roberts. We're going to be bringing you guys a show tonight about the Beast of Bray Road. We wanted to do kind of a tribute to Linda Godfrey. I didn't know her personally, but she was such a big part of the Dogman phenomenon and specifically the Beast of Bray Road. She was just a wonderful lady. I'm sorry that I never got a chance to meet her or go to a convention with her, but she was a huge influence in this community, and we wanted to kind of pay our respects. And thought it was a great way to do it with the first show of the new year. So, boys, how y'all doing? And everybody, welcome to the show.
Very good.
If I was any better, I'd be twins.
Yeah.
Bobby, I see you got the hat back on.
Yep.
I watched last night on Nona Boss. You was wearing a Dark Angel medical hat.
Hey, got to represent my boy.
Hell yeah.
My brother from another mother.
And you even managed to get in a shameless plug for Dark Angel a couple of times.
I did.
Yeah, I like how he did that. Marty was laughing. She was laughing her ass off last night when he kept doing it. He's like, well, I mean, Dark Angel Medical.
Marty's in the house tonight. Hi, Marty.
Hey, Marty.
We got a full house tonight. Werewolf's here. Monster Radio here. Hey, Ryan.
Hey, everybody.
Scott George, Marty from Nona Boss, Lanita Bryant, Lone Cat. It's a weird font. I can't hardly read that real well. Says hello from Louisiana. Ed Peaks here. Primal Cry, Pork and Beans, Pat Murphy, Sal Passos, Steve Payton. Hey, buddy, you on duty tonight? If so, be safe. Don Combs, Junkyard Dog, Crystal McGee, Appalachian Terrors, Tales of Terror.
Nighthawk is in. Hey, Mr. Nighthawk.
Appalachian Tales of Terror with Jimmy Blanton. Big fan of Blanton's.
Big fan of your whiskey.
Big fan of the whiskey there, brother. Thank you very much. If you are part of that Blanton family, we would very much like to have a sampling.
Have a little test
That's right. We've got quite an extended crowd already here tonight.
Wow. So a lot of new faces or names or however you want to call it.
Quite a few new faces, which is awesome.
Primal Cry, she's in. Monster Radio sent $5. Thank you.
Did I say Beast of Bray Road? I meant to say Beast of Bray Road. Beast of Bray Road was my Lakeview Man book. My bad. Sorry.
Miss Finn is in the chat.
Hi, Naoma. How you doing? Just got our first super chat from Ryan over at Monster Radio. Hey, brother, appreciate it. Says, hey, here, I want to start this new year with some positivity for everyone. Keep up the amazing show, boys. Brother, thank you. Thank you for the super chat, and thank you for all the times you've come on and helped out with our show. You're an amazing resource and a fantastic researcher, brother. We'd love to have you. How do you guys want to jump into this tonight? I mean, well, there's so much material there with the Bray Road incident. I mean, there was a movie made about it. There's been a really cool documentary done by Small Town Monsters, multiple books by Linda Godfrey. If you haven't had a chance to pick up any of those books by Linda, she's authored and co-authored a few. There's several of them of books by her that are available on Amazon, and I highly recommend them. I'm little by little adding all of them to my collection. 1980 CNN says, hey, Doc, I got a question for you.
Shoot.
Ain't got no gas in it.
Sal Passo's in. Hey, Sal.
Hey, Sal. Hope you're feeling better, brother. Sal just finished the audio for the second of the sci-fi series. He's doing my sci-fi series. He just finished Blood and Honor, Lost Legion Blood and Honor. I've got to finish listening to all of it and get it approved. But once it's approved and submitted to Amazon, ACX should have it approved in a couple of weeks. So a couple of weeks down the road, we may have an audio book. And another big announcement on the book is last night I finished the rough draft for Codename Wild Hunt Death and Dyatlov Pass. It's in edits now. Billy Dink says, my friend Lee Hample lives off Bray Road. He was good friends with Linda. Have a great show. Thank you, man. Appreciate it, Billy. Thank you very much.
Yeah, cool.
Everybody that knew Linda, has such high things to say about her. She was a wonderful researcher, an amazing lady, and she contributed so much to this field. Again, I wish I'd had a chance to meet her, but unfortunately our paths did not cross. But just a wonderful lady, and I've got a friend. Josh Turner from Paranormal Roundtable, who was good friends with her, and Josh had nothing but good things to say about her. And Josh is a good dude, so if he,
she was heavily featured in that documentary you're talking about.
Oh yeah, the Small Town Monsters went back in 2018.
That was a very good documentary.
Those guys from Small Town Monsters do an amazing job.
Yeah, they do.
They shoot the style of documentaries that we're planning to start shooting.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we should have our first documentary out later this year.
Hopefully. Everything works out good.
CNH says, I may have a way to get your kits into a local gun shop here in St. Louis. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I'm sending him a message right now to shoot me an email.
Okay.
That'd be awesome. If we can, the big thing is keeping up with products, because right now that's still in short supply. Badly. It didn't pop up my. Can you post my email in there? Because it.
Yeah. It's Carrie at Dark Angel, right?
Yeah, Carrie at darkangelmedical.com. I don't know if you saw it shows up on the YouTube comments, but not on our StreamYard comments.
Oh, I just posted it.
All right,
so 1980, that's his email address, Carrie at darkangelmedical.com. Shoot him a message.
Yeah.
And maybe you guys can make that.
Yep.
Oh, Primal Christ says, DA, thanks for pointing me in the direction of Scallywag Tactical. Bought some throwing knives for myself and some from my man to make it fair. I bought a set of those too. I caught some on the Scratch and Dent. They're called the Chucks, and these are wicked little throwing knives. And to boot, they're sharp as hell. So I got a set of those, and I've been playing with them. I don't have to compete with my wife on throwing knives. I've got the edge on the knives, but my God, you put a hatchet in that girl's hand, and she'll split a log for you. She throws hatchets better than anybody I know.
That's freaking awesome.
She's wicked precise with them too. Only person I've ever seen be able to snap one upside down and stick it upside down. I tried to duplicate it and kept missing the target. I'm like, I don't know how the hell you do that.
You're married to her too. Don't forget that.
Yeah.
I know that. Okay.
Yeah, which means I can run, but I can't run far.
Exactly. You'll get one of them in the back like in Patriot with no Gibson.
Naomi says, oh, come on, DA, show us how sharp they are. Dart, get a kick, get ready. No, I learned my lesson on that one time, so I'm not going to be opening up a bleed on the show anymore.
Naomi, Nana says, who throws what? DA's wife can throw a hatchet from 100 yards and hit and split a hair with it, basically what he's saying.
She's like a hatchet sniper.
Yeah. So none of us, we're not messing with her, especially when she comes in April. She'll,
Monster Radio Ryan says, I need to get cracking on my Wendigo documentary. I'd like to get it done by Christmas. Ryan, if you want a good resource on Wendigo lore, and I know you know a lot about Wendigo, but I just picked this book up. It's by Chad Lewis. It's called Wendigo Lore, and it's a pretty thick book. And as far as I've gotten into it so far, it's damn good. One of the best Wendigo resources I found. The dude's a crack-on researcher. So if you pick up Wendigo Lore by Chad Lewis, I think you'll really like that book. Hey, William's in the house.
Marty gave praise to your wife right there.
She's ornery.
Ornery.
I tell her all the time I can run faster scared than she can mad.
Yeah, but how good a shot is she?
She's a pretty damn good shot.
Yeah, you might just die tired then.
Yeah, I'll probably just die tired. Exactly.
That's a
Camera Dad said it.
Same thing. Mercy.
Northwood says, can't wait for the next wild hunt. Well, hopefully it's like I said, it's going into edits. I'm going to do my best to work with my alphas to try to get the edits done by Sunday, Monday. Cover's already done. All I've got to do is send final page count over to my cover artist, Adam Shepard, and he's just got to adjust the spine width, and it'll be done. I'm waiting on a couple of things. I need the new black and white ad from Dark Angel to go in the back of it,
Yeah.
and I'm putting one together for Scallywag as well. And I'm doing an updated ad for the books. Plus, from here on out, all of the books will have a timeline in the back of them.
Hey, Country Boy's in. Hey, Country, you're going on his show, right, Robbie? When, tomorrow?
Yeah,
Tomorrow night?
me and Norm will be on there tomorrow night.
Cool.
Yeah, so make sure everybody checks out Country Boy show tomorrow night and check out Robbie and Norm.
I know. Yeah, me and DA will be in there messing with Robbie and text.
Yeah.
Shy Dorsai says DA married to a Valkyrie. Well, damn near. Yeah, she's certainly good with a hatchet.
Doc, you can take tomorrow night off if you want to. You don't have to
Yeah.
join in the festivities.
You could jump in, Doc, anytime with the chat because we had him going last night on Nana.
Oh yeah.
On
That's
Marty's
kind of a game between all of us. Whenever one of us is on a show being interviewed, the rest will text them like crazy memes and goofy pictures and say crazy stuff just to try to get them to laugh live on camera.
I'm surprised Marty didn't ask you what that noise was. Every time you got a text, your phone was going off. Bing, bing,
Oh,
bing,
that
bing,
was
bing.
my computer. I had my phone
was it?
muted. It was on my computer. I forgot to mute it on my computer, so I wasn't going to try to scramble.
Eli Harrison says, any
That
updates
should
on the
be,
Apex Predator audiobooks? Cam Buckner is working on the first of those right now, Apex Predator Wolf Moon. Hopefully he'll have that done in the next couple of weeks.
Marty says, so that's what the dinging was coming from. She's like, she didn't know.
Ding.
Yeah. And it was like ding, 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 ding.
Yeah.
Scott George says, have you ever talked to anyone who's had a dogman encounter in Alabama? If so, what county? You can look on the North American Dogman Project.com. That's the NADP's website. And they've got all kinds of sightings on there. You can just click on the map and look at the sightings. I don't generally get the sighting reports from Alabama because that's not my region. I'm Midwest director. But yeah, if you go to NADP or North American Dogman Project.com, there's all kinds of sightings on there from all over the country.
Brandy's in. Hi, Brandy.
Hi, Brandy.
Randy.
Hey, Brandy.
So one of the earliest reports around the Bray Road area came from 1938. Apparently, there is like a religious school near there, and a guard who was walking the perimeter one night. There was like a Native American burial mound on the edge of the property, and he came upon a dogman creature digging in the burial mound. So that's like one of the earliest one knowns from that area, but they're ongoing. They've been going on for almost a century, and even before that, there were strange tales of all kinds of creatures up in that area. Wisconsin and Michigan, they attract their share of weird stories.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that. It seems like, Michigan, Wisconsin, that general area is kind of like your area is for more of the Bigfoot type stuff or the super paranormal type stuff. That seems like that's the hub for a lot of the. I mean, obviously there's more dogmen in other places too, but that just seems to be like the concentrated area where you get a lot of sightings.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Doc.
Yeah, I say what's even funnier. What's even more odd to me about this is there have been several sightings of it during the daytime too, like a lot, more than what people would think.
Richard Cox had a good comment. He said historical depictions of the cynocephali show them to be about the size of an average man. How the hell did these things get so damn big? Genetic tampering by our government? Yeah, that's possible. The one I saw in LBL was about 6.5, maybe 7 feet tall. Wasn't much bigger than a normal dude. But it could be just, they're evolving to get bigger. Or it could be a case of adrenaline. Robbie can tell you, Doc can tell you, Anthony can tell you, in a highly stressful situation, you will get a very wide variety of descriptions from eyewitnesses of what they saw. A guy of average height, say 5'5", 5'6", walks up with a gun. You're going to get descriptions from 5'2" to 6'5". Because adrenaline will blow things out of proportion. So it could be people are hyper adrenalized when they're describing what they saw, or they could in fact be that big.
Yeah, because like you said, it's never the same color gun that anybody saw. They're never the same size.
Right.
They were never. People see different things in stressful situations.
Now, the one I saw on LBL, we were able to find the spot where I saw it for size references. It had its hand on a tree, and when it turned its head, that's when I saw the movement. And when Nick and I got out and ran over there and got up to the tree, I could put my hand on the same spot, but I had to reach up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm 5'10", so I'm not quite 6 foot tall. And it wasn't like I had to reach way up to put my hand on the spot. It was just like more so than I would comfortably put my hand on a tree. If I was leaning against a tree, it would probably be about head level. It was just slightly above my head range. So I would estimate that it was probably 6.5, 7 foot at the outside.
Yeah, that's funny. When I worked on one of our emergency service teams in the Air Force on base with the police, and I was their medic, obviously, and then I would help them out with their exercises. Well, I did a fake robbery. It was an exercise robbery with a fake gun and everything, and a card I gave to the cashier. It was an exercise, armed robbery, whatever. And they gave me a sack with fake money, and I left. And they went to get the description. They said he was about a 6'2" black-headed dude. I was like, man, and because they were starting to shake, even though it was an exercise, the gun looked real enough. But yeah. It was I was like,
you 6'2", Doc?
I know, 6'2".
Were you standing on the top step of the porch?
Exactly.
That's a big pocket.
Yeah, carry a step stool in with me and stand on it. Yeah. That's all I get 6'2".
What is it Ron White said? I'm between 5'6" and 6'2", depending on what convenience store I'm walking into or out of.
That's true. That's true. Oh, mercy.
Scott George says around Russellville and Town Creek has a lot of swampy area. That's the funny thing is the area around Blunk Road isn't really swampy, but we do get a lot of reports from swampy areas of creatures like the Honey Island swamp monster. What's that one in South Carolina? The Lizard Man, Skateboard Swamp.
Skateboard Swamp.
Swamps tend to just attract weird things, and there's swampy areas up in the Bridgewater Triangle. Hockomock Swamp. Their swampy areas just seem to have their own mysticism. Talk to anybody that lives down in Louisiana. There's all kinds of weird stories come out of the swamp.
Lots.
But I'm not really aware of any swampy areas around Bray Road. Expedition X, Josh Gates, they did a show on Bray Road, and they filmed some pretty thick woods, but I didn't really see anything that swampy. Although they did take some high-res images of what could have possibly been tracks, and I think it came back as a wolf track. But a dogman track would be very similar to a wolf. The only differences would be the heel pad being slightly elongated and probably a deeper impression. Yeah, I keep saying Blunk Road, but it's Bray Road. Yeah, I'm sorry. I got Blunk Road on my head, on my brain. My apologies, folks. I mean Bray Road.
I wasn't sure if you were going back to your area for something on that one. That's why
you never know with me. You just never know. My mind is a mystery, unfortunately, even to me.
Pork and Bean says, remember the swamp thing?
Very true.
Yep. So there was another, and I can't remember what area it was in. It was in a place that is not really known for the swampy areas, but I was listening to a podcast one night, and it was like strange occurrences or strange happenings. So I can't remember the name of the podcast, but they were talking about they had built a subdivision around this swampy area, and they had cut a walking trail kind of through the swamp to kind of, I guess, why anybody wouldn't walk through a walking trail through a swamp is beyond me, but that's what they did. And the lady that was telling, or that they were telling the accountant from, said that, and it was like 4 or 5 different things that had happened to her over 5 to 6 month period. And the first thing she saw, or that she described, she thought was a pack of dogmen that were pacing her along the edge of the track. And she said she saw 2 or 3 sets of eyes off to her left. And as she turned and went the corner, was making the round back to her house, she saw 2 more sets on the other side of the trail. And she said a couple months later, she went back out and she started seeing some orbs flying over the top. And then she started hearing noises. She said she wasn't sure if it was a Bigfoot whoop or if it was the dogman that she saw. And I want to say this was probably somewhere around Michigan, Wisconsin type area. But it was just like a pattern of over 5 or 6 months that she was just seeing these different things every time and it varied from right at dusk to on into, really dark or early in the morning right before sun come up.
Huh.
Well, there's been along Bray Road, there have been daytime sightings, which is odd. But then again, the sighting I had in LBL was broad daylight. It was about 10:30 in the morning.
Well, the old legends we get about werewolves, where they only came out at night for the full moon. But if this is a real creature, then why wouldn't you have a chance to see it?
I would say, much like wolves, they tend to be more active at night.
Right, but you're still
because their night vision is way better than ours, way better than most of their prey. Like look at deer. Deer are rarely active at night unless something spooked them. It's just because their day vision's better than their night vision. But
that's proven by how many cars they run out in front of.
That's no
Yeah,
joke.
that's true.
Shy Dorsai says, question for Anthony. Your friend being harassed by Bigfoot, how's he doing?
I spoke to him the other. Actually, what day did he text me? We were on the show. Was it Saturday?
Saturday.
Yeah.
Saturday, and he's doing all right. He's working at night. His wife doesn't stay at the house at night when he's at work. She goes to her mother's place, or I think her mother or a friend's house, and then he picks her up, bring her home. Still going on. Still messing with him. But
that sucks, man.
It is what it is. I'm trying to get him on the show. He just doesn't have good internet service or a good computer, but we're trying to work something out. So,
how far away is he from you, Ant?
He's in Jacksonville. He's about maybe a 2-hour drive, not even.
Maybe we should work out a time to have him just come to your house and do a show from your house.
Yeah, or get him on the phone.
Get him on the phone. That way. Yeah, I don't know if we can patch phone lines in from StreamYard. It's something we need to look into.
Okay, or we get him on speaker. I could get him on speakerphone and let him talk.
If we can do it, I think that board that I've got, DA, I think you can patch phone calls in through that.
Oh, okay.
That's cool.
Well, maybe we have to look and see if we can't make that happen.
Yeah.
Primal Christ says, I had a daytime dogman sighting and she was amazing. Well, we'd love to hear about that. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Nighthawk says, Anthony, I want to get there to help Jacksonville.
Cool. Yeah, I'd love to set something up to get up there. I mean, I know he wants me to come up. I told him about everybody to get up there. He's dead set on us coming up. Like I said, he had one researcher from a well-known researcher group, big one, which I'm not going to mention, actually hightail it out of there. The guy did not want to stay at night.
Why you say he was finding nothing?
Yeah, he's told me, because I'm not staying here at night. This is crazy. I guess they had something happened, and he wasn't staying by himself out there. So,
Doc, you said you were going to come early for the conference too, right?
Yeah, and what dates for that?
I'm going to come. Well, the conference is the 22nd, but I'm coming down like the 18th through the 24th.
Yeah, because I'll be done with my class in Seattle on the 16th, be home on the 17th, fly in on the 18th. Yeah.
What about you, DA? How early are you going to get down there?
That's April, yeah.
Still discussing the details with the one in charge in the other room.
Well,
is that in April?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that could be very workable, especially if we're getting down there early, or
early enough to
couple of
make
days
a
earlier
trip
than the
together.
conference. Just make a
That
day
would be
trip.
pretty-
All of us go down there.
Yeah, we definitely need to have camera equipment before then so we can film that.
We should have that taken care of, though, right, Ant?
Yes,
I'm
we
looking
should.
at buying, and I don't really want it for the noggin protection capabilities, but I'm looking at buying a helmet so I can mount my GoPro to it. Richie Harris says, anybody in here know of anybody that claims to have shot one? We talked to a guy named Joe. I don't want to go into a whole lot of details on that because if you guys check out the show, but he shot one in Michigan, supposedly killed it, and people from the government showed up and ran him off. But there's a number of people that are reported shooting one. A lot of hunters are reported shooting at them. Dogmen are very dangerous and apparently hard to bring down.
Yeah.
Just trying to catch up with some of the comments. But the thing about that I find the most interesting about the Bray Road situation is the similarities to sightings from other locations where there have been dogmen reported. If it was just something that that people had made up, it was a local legend or something like that, there wouldn't be those consistencies with other dogman sightings. The behaviors are similar. The locations where they find them, like the security guard who saw one digging in a burial mound, that's consistent with dogman behavior around the world. They've been sighted in graveyards and near Indian burial mounds. There is something very, very sinister about these things. And I don't know if it's maybe, a dark connection historically to Anubis or something like that gives them some sort of fascination with graveyards, or if they're just looking for, fresh corpses or bones, specifically older bones because they wouldn't have been contaminated with formaldehyde. What do you guys think?
It's interesting because there are quite a few signs around cemeteries from the other shows we've done. So that would lend credence to the whole underworld thing,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Well, when I was in LBL, I kept hearing something walking around me in the woods when I was at the Nickel Cemetery. So yeah, I never saw it come out into the cemetery. I didn't have a visual, but something bipedal was definitely following me in the woods near that cemetery.
dang.
I mean, I don't think it's a territorial thing. I think it's definitely there's some other kind of connection other than, because it's just like we talked about the connection with the cornfields. How many dogman sightings, what you saw up in Missouri, DA, crossed from one cornfield to the other.
Yeah.
There's some kind of connection between, because there's just too many stories that link them to those two things to say that it's just a coincidence. Because I think a lot of the Bray Road sightings are along the sides of either a cornfield or they've seen them in a cemetery or close to a cemetery.
Yeah, there's something about cemeteries. There's even a lot of Bigfoot sightings in and around cemeteries. Edward Kung Fu Mashburn had a question. He says, "Hey Doc, a month ago were you in North Carolina with an RV camper and a close-in trailer with a black angel wings on it? Did you have a shooting class or a med class?"
No, sir. Not unless there's a doppelganger or somebody's going around toes.
I believe if Doc had been in North Carolina, we'd have probably hooked up.
Yeah.
Richie Harris says, "I wouldn't go into LBL without at least a squad of heavy hitters." Well, that's the plan for the next time we go.
Yep.
Country Boy says, "What type of projectile y'all use in your 458 SOCOMs?" I haven't gotten one yet. I'm working on it.
The hardcast rounds from Bear Creek.
Yeah, I got some from what the hell is that from? SBR Ammo. It's like a 450 grain hardcast.
Yeah. It's a hard.
I've got some Hornady. I think mine
and DA's didn't come in yet. They're still on back
364
order.
maybe. 364
I got
grain.
ours on back order.
Monster Radio says, "Maybe Dogman act so aggressively because they know we want to blow them away. They're reacting to our reactions." True, but in the case of the people that were killed in LBL in '82, none of them were armed. And
Yeah.
the case of the 2 campers that were supposedly killed, and I would think it was 74 or 78, that was reported by the guy that worked for Fish and Wildlife. They were just a man and a woman, and they weren't armed.
Yeah,
So a lot of these attacks
two
are on people that
bicyclists.
aren't armed.
Yeah, the 2 bicyclists.
The
Neither
2
one of them were
bicyclists
armed.
weren't armed. So there's a lot of accounts. Well, Palmyra, Maine, when that family was trapped in their house, their guns were in the barn and they couldn't get to them.
Yeah.
That if that story is for real, that's a freaky story. That is just.
Well, speaking of that, Nick Valente from NADP, he's been to Palmyra, and he said he believes that story is 100% legit because while he was up there, they found a lot of like animal mutilations, and the locals were all willing to talk about it. It's like, yeah, there's some weird shit going on in the woods. But speaking of Nick and his crew are investigating multiple dogman sightings in North Carolina right now. I don't have the location details, but he took like 6 armed guys to an area where he got 7 reports in 5 days from the same like 2-mile area. So they're in North Carolina on the ground right now looking into an account.
Well, tell Nick if he needs any assistance up in the North Carolina region. If it's not that far, I'd be glad to
shoot him a message.
I'd be glad to go up there and help.
George says guns in the barn. Who would do that? That was the thing. They had just moved to that farm, and the wife didn't want the guns in the house. She made him build like a special case out in their barn where the guns would be protected, but she didn't want them in the house. I would say if they still live there, the guns are now in the house.
Well, the wife made him put the guns in the barn because something happened with the kids or something. He didn't want the guns in there.
Papa Bear says there's a farm for sale on Bray Road. I wish I had the money. And Naoma says, Papa Bear, no, just no.
Yeah.
Country Boy's got a good point. If a 458 SOCOM with hard cast rounds doesn't bring one down, probably nothing's gonna.
Yeah.
Well, there's probably a few things. Right, Doc?
W. Lothus says, is there a location where a narrative of LBL suspicious homicides are listed? The info isn't listed as read. There are lots of stories about the LBL incidents going around. You could watch several of our shows where we've talked about LBL, but the majority of dogman sightings seem to be located in the northern end of LBL on the Kentucky side. And the funny thing is last year there were, Ryan, correct me if I'm wrong, but last year I think there were 17 people went missing in LBL, and it always gets shut up. Hey, it looks like Uncle John made it.
Hey.
Holy crap. His computer's
Hey guys.
working. What's up, Uncle John?
Not much. How you guys doing?
Doing good. Glad you could make it in finally.
Yeah, I lost.
He got it to work. Nice.
Yeah,
it's working now.
For the moment.
Yeah, you never know.
Sounds like my computer. I had an instructor in the Army who told me something. They referred to it as the smoke theory of electronics. Said all electronics run on smoke, and if you ever let the smoke out, they won't work anymore.
Yeah. We always said there were little gremlins in there. Yeah.
Lone Cat says Desert Eagle 50 cal. Actually, the Guncrafter Industries 50 GI conversion they made for the Glock frame has better penetration on ballistic gel. In field trials, the 50 GI went through 42 inches of ballistic gel.
Yeah.
Doc, we can't hear you. You're muted.
You're muted, Doc.
There we go. I sneezed earlier. I muted it when I sneezed. And the new Guncrafter 50 GI mags, they have some that hold 9 rounds.
Yeah.
You got a 9+1.
Yeah. Which
That's
is better
cool.
than the 50 Desert Eagle. And, punching through 42 inches of ballistic gel, that is tremendous.
That's a lot.
That's
Yeah,
that's 3.5 feet of essentially simulated flesh.
And they're very, very expensive. It's like getting a second mortgage on your house to buy one.
Well, that's if you get one of the 1911 framed ones. You can get that 50 GI conversion for an existing Glock frame for
that's right.
$1,200.
Yeah.
Naoma says she's also working on a nonfiction book regarding incidents in LBL and had to resort to archival newspapers to find anything. Naoma, if you need anything, let me know. I've got a bunch of stuff in my notes.
Yeah, because DA didn't a lot of the stuff you were looking at, you'd found stuff, and then it would just disappear off the internet.
Yeah, I had stuff, like especially when the cases of missing people last year.
Yeah.
I would find articles, and one of them was really fantastic because you can't find it now. It was an obituary for the guy, and it said that he had been attacked and killed by wild dogs. There was no conspiracy, so stop asking. That's literally what the article said.
Wow. Holy crap.
Louis Noriega says we were at the pigeon range when we were asked to leave by the United States Forest Service, and then forest rangers were carrying 454 5-shot handguns, and the other guy was carrying a Desert Eagle 50 cal. And I don't know why these guys are carrying such big caliber weapons up at a painted range. I seriously think it was a shootout, and that's the reason they closed it. Yeah, sounds like they took on something big.
Dang.
Something real big.
Yeah.
Serious firepower.
Yeah, they ain't playing around with that.
Yeah, that 454 Casull, that's a freaking bear round.
Yeah, it is.
That's a big
W. Lothus just gave us a super chat. Thank you. Thank you so much. And yeah, this is what we do. We sit around and dig, poke at the bear until we find some new evidence. But thank you so much.
Or we'll poke at the dog man.
That's right. Poke at the dog man.
Little hair of the dog
thing
man.
I found interesting about the similarities from other areas is not just the behaviors, but the physical descriptions. The dog man around Bray Road is described between 6 and 7 feet tall, which is right there with what we were talking about, them being slightly man-sized or slightly bigger, and the behavior. There are numerous people that have reported them like running up beside their vehicle and scratching the vehicle. One lady reported that she was driving down Bray Road and she hit what she thought was a wolf. So she got out of her car to see if she'd killed it and was looking at the car, and this thing got up on its hind legs and came after her. She ran back to the car, jumped in and punched it, and it apparently dug gouges into the quarter panel of her car as she sped away. So there's lots of accounts of these things chasing vehicles and not really being afraid of people.
Well,
Nice.
that story we were talking about the other night with the EMS, where they were basically ambushing the ambulance, where they had one that was out in front watching, and when they turned the lights on and activated the cameras, they saw 3 or 4 sneaking up behind the ambulance.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wendy Guizdala says, any thoughts on the theory that there has to be some point in time we can't see them and they feel so safe running out with cars going to 70 miles an hour? I don't know about us not being able to see them. And I'm probably gonna aggravate a few people, but I'm purely on this is a physical creature side. Call it too many years in law enforcement or what you will. If they were jumping through portals and able to turn invisible, they'd have killed us all off a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There would be nothing we could do to stop them.
Well, especially as mean as them damn things are, man.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I've never heard of a peaceful encounter with one of these critters. There's been plenty of encounters with Bigfoot that have been peaceful or, mostly peaceful. But I've yet to hear of an encounter with one of these things that's not pissed off and want to eat something.
That's
Right.
it.
Well, like the kid in North Carolina, we brought him up before, said that a bear took care of him for 3 days in the woods and fed him berries. Yeah, to me, that is just absolutely a Bigfoot took care of that kid and returned him home.
Right.
Had that been a dog man, that kid just would have been gone.
Now, okay, Monster Radio just says, Doc, my dogman encounter was peaceful. Well, brother, you might have the exception to the rule from everything that we've heard here. I'd like to hear about it.
Yeah.
I'd like to hear about
Primal Cry says, I've seen Dogman and Bigfoot in shimmer form. Well, we've addressed that too. A lot of hair samples have been collected show that clear hair shaft, which is going to refract light in odd ways. That's why the next generation of ghillie suits have fiber optic cables embedded in them, because they pick up and redirect the light around them. I don't think it's anything mystical. Now, I could be totally wrong. This is just my personal theory. You guys can agree or disagree. Again, there are no experts in this field. All we're putting forth is our own theories. But I think these things have a natural ability, natural adaptation to where the clear shaft of fur is picking up and redirecting the color of light around it, and it makes them difficult to track with the eye. It also explains why most photos would be blurry if you catch them moving through light. It would also explain why they can step into foliage and just be gone. I got a super chat from Valerie Juice. For the love of everything holy, please do not insinuate that dogmen are in the north and Bigfoot are in the south of LBL. The information had me in a situation could have ended badly when hauling a filly on 11/15/21. For the most part, I would say that would hold true, that the dogmen stick to the north. But I've also talked to people that had Bigfoot encounters in the north. What I do say about Bigfoot and dogmen and LBL is that they do not get along.
Well, going back to the hair, clear hair shafts and all that. I one of the sightings that I had, me and Johnny were standing, 2 feet apart, maybe 3 tops. He's looking at one direction, I'm looking at the other direction. We're both looking at the same, whatever it was. I saw a lighter color creature. He saw a darker color creature. We're looking at it from different angles, and the sun was hitting it, and the light was filtering in on different angles. So we were seeing 2 totally different colors, but we were looking at the same thing. That, to me, that just kind of proves that point of the adaptive camouflage.
Well, Ryan from Monster Radio says the little boy's family said that Bear was actually a family friend who has Down syndrome. His name is Bear. That sounds like a cover story to me, because the initial reports, the kid did not say Bear took care of him. He said a bear took care of him.
Because his aunt put that on Facebook. She took it down, but the original post on Facebook was he said that a bear took care of him, not Bear.
To me, that sounds like a cover story they've been told to say.
Yeah,
which happens a lot when people have, these irrefutable encounter stories. They get told to shut up about it, or things get really, really unfortunate for the family.
I dug into that one pretty heavy for my show that Lance and I did on that one, and there was every bit of it was like he said a bear found him and kept him safe in the woods and fed him berries.
Steve Payton says that DAX Machina podcast, kind of sad I'm on the last book of the Apex Predator until the next one. Well, you'll like the new codename Wild Hunt, because the Hota Metaneo are featured heavily in it. Nona Boss says we have amazing hair samples on Matt's channel. That clear hair shaft, just like a polar bear, just like fiber optic cables, will pick up and redirect the color of whatever is around it. So if these things have the clear hair shaft, which samples, Doug Hychek from Monster Radio has collected hair samples. Researchers from across the country, a lot of them down in the Florida area, have picked up these hairs that have this clear hair shaft. If that is the case, that is the exact reason why they could step into a patch of green brush and vanish, because their color would shift to appear the same as their surroundings. Now, the reason why when out in their opening, when they're out in the open, and people see them as brown, black, or even reddish, I think that's because the tips of the hairs and the roots of the hairs seem to be darker colored, but the hair shaft itself is clear. Just like a polar bear is not naturally white. If you shaved a polar bear, its skin is black. But the hair being completely clear picks up the snow around it, and polar bears appear as white.
Well, I'll let you shave one. I'm not doing it.
Yeah. Well, we'll drink it first. We'll put a white wig on you, Uncle John. It'll fall in love.
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
Well, that's one of the purposes of the documentary that we're planning on shooting, is to show physical explanations for some of these stories that are going around. And I'm not saying it's not possible that they're and I will never ever call out somebody's story and go, that's just BS, that didn't happen, because I wasn't there. However, I'm looking for logical explanations for why some of these behaviors and some of these sightings are reporting what they're seeing, because there have to be logical explanations. If they were extra dimensional, if they were able to teleport, and obviously from the missing 411s and lots of cases of people being killed by them, if we were an item on their menu, there would be absolutely nothing we could do to stop them. From firearms to anything, we couldn't stop them. So, the fact that we're not all kept in pens and as food for dogmen like sheep leads me to believe there's got to be something more to this, because I do firmly believe they are physical creatures. Wendy's got a good point. She says, and theories are made to prove or disprove. That's how we get the knowledge. Exactly. That's the whole point of the documentary we're wanting to shoot, is to put forth some of these, like clear hair samples. And Robbie is a trained tracker. He tracks for law enforcement. Want to show how they can double back on their tracks to explain some of these stories of why people say, well, the tracks just disappeared. They must have went through a portal. That is not, you can't explain a mystery with another mystery. Logic would say that, much like our special forces troops, they have adapted to be able to backtrack on their tracks. Special forces do it all the time. They'll backtrack on their tracks and throw the trail off. Grizzly bear do it. They will circle back on their tracks and come up behind hunters. Happens all the time. So we've got to come up with logical explanations, and these are just theories, folks. We are attempting to try to expedite, not expedite, but try to show these theories and bring to light some alternative theories as to why these things are doing some of the things they're doing. Monster Radio says, I just want to add this: the smell or odor, maybe it's energy burn off. If they are ultra dimensional or something, it could be energy burn off. You talking about the skunky smell or the pungent odor they sometimes emanate? Gorillas do that. It's a musk gland.
It's a gland. So that's actually a gland.
Gorillas do it all the time. Primate researchers reported at times they'll smell that funky smell and then they won't smell it again. It's a territorial thing with male gorillas.
And like DA saying, when I went through my defensive tactics certification, the company that makes the ASP baton and the ASP cuffs and everything, they were like, what we're saying is we're not trying to teach you the way, we're trying to teach you a way. This is just
right.
And that's the same thing. We're not here saying that our way is, or what we believe is, because DA said it, I don't know how many times, there are no experts in this field.
Right, exactly.
What we're saying, we all just happen to believe the same way. And that's what every researcher is trying to do. They're trying to prove their theory. That's all we're trying to do. We're just trying to gain the evidence to prove our theory. We're not trying to disprove anybody else's theory or make anybody else look bad. We're just, we all happen to believe the same way, and we're just trying to get that out there.
Wendy had a good point. She says, so 8, feel everyone has a right to their own opinions to share evidence. Exactly. That's all this field. That's all we have in this field is theory until something concrete is brought home. Our focus, since most of us have a law enforcement or military background, well, actually, all of us have law enforcement or military background. Our attempt is to look for physical, logical explanations, kind of like the group from Ghost Hunters, TAPS. I like their approach. They go in and they look for things that would logically explain why these paranormal incidents are happening. And when they rule those out, then they move on to it being a ghost. So that's the approach we're taking. We're looking for ways to explain these phenomenon before we start looking beyond that. Shane from West Coast says, hi, Marty. Great show last night with Rip.
That was you. You did that. I can tell by the laugh on your face.
I was in the chat with her.
Wendy says, I hope I'm not trying to be mean, because I'm definitely not. I really like that people can discuss it without judgment. Exactly. That is where I'm at. I will never denounce somebody else's sighting, again, because I wasn't there. I'm not going to denounce anybody else's theories, because those are their theories, and theories is all we have. There are no experts in this field, and we are not in any way trying to present ourselves as experts on this subject. We are merely going to explore our documentary from the purpose of, can we physically explain this?
I know you're going to give Robbie a big head, Marty.
Well, he's got a big hat, so it'll fit. Ryan says, I've got a question for you guys. Do you find that your law enforcement or military training tends to paint or form your beliefs in cryptids? Ryan, really from my perspective, and I can't speak for the other guys, is I try to approach this as with Occam's razor. The most logical and most likely explanation is probably it. That doesn't mean it can't be, wildly something else that entirely happened. But
You never know.
I approach the evidence to look to make my theories match the evidence, not the evidence match my theories. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's no different than, like, if I'm out trying to pull a car over, I don't find a violation and then look for an offender to go with it. Or, I don't find an offender and then try to find a violation. I find a violation, and then if there's an offender that goes with it, so be it. But I'm not going out there looking at that person saying, oh, okay, I'm going to pull him over and find something on him. I see a violation, I'm going to pull him over.
Right.
Same thing here. We're not going out.
You have to develop probable cause.
Yeah.
Strange Road says, do you wonder if cryptids were around longer than humans, or did they exist alongside early humans? My theory is, yes, they did exist alongside early humans. The uncanny valley theory. All across the world, people from multiple different backgrounds, different ethnicities, different points of origin in the world, different continents entirely, all have this innate fear of something that looks almost like us in the dark. We have this innate fear of human-like shapes in the darkness. And to me, that just lends credence to the theory that at some point in our development as humans, probably sometime around the time we developed fire, that something that looked a hell of a lot like us used to hunt us in the dark.
Probably.
Everything is based on,
you know what, though?
Reality.
It's like everybody has their beliefs. Everybody has their knowledge of it, and like people believe in certain things. We're not saying that we don't believe you.
Right.
It's that we never experienced it ourselves. Plain and simple.
Yeah.
I never experienced it. DA's never experienced a portal, or Robbie's never experienced a portal about them coming through. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying we have never experienced it, so we just go off of what we have seen and what we encountered. That's it.
Right, exactly. James Fedeke says, don't you think they'd be more cave paintings or petroglyphs all over? We've only discovered small percentage of those. If prehistoric people moved around nomadic like we think, there's probably petroglyphs that we have never seen. I've got a picture somewhere, and I'll have to see if I can find it. Guys, give me a second while I look for this picture. But this picture was taken by a friend of mine who is a researcher, a Bigfoot researcher here in the Ozarks. And he sent me this picture.
Look at the First Nation tribes, and how many of the First Nation tribes have Sasquatch-like figure in their totems.
Right, exactly.
I just watched a special today on the Navajo Rangers, and they were talking about how far back Bigfoot goes in their heritage. I mean, way, way before anybody's ever been in the new land.
Sentinel's in the house.
So
hey, Sentinel, what's up, brother?
Hey, Robert.
Sentinel.
Yeah, they probably way before them even.
Oh yeah, I think those things have been here as long as humans have been here.
Yeah.
And they actually said, when I was watching the special, the Navajo Rangers, those guys said that they even said that they were another tribe, another clan that, like everybody says, they would trade with and everything. But they had their own special unit that investigated Bigfoot paranormal stuff out of their unit on the reservations that did that alone. That's it. That's all they did. It was like the X-Files for them.
Wow, that's weird.
Sorry, I'm still looking for that picture.
Yeah, it was just, I watched it today. It was pretty crazy, but they interviewed, he had two Navajo Rangers on today they were interviewing.
I would
One
like
was
to get those Navajo Rangers on the show.
Yeah, one was active law enforcement, one was retired. And they were telling some, I mean, they seen some weird stuff they encountered themselves. You know, it was nuts, the stories they were telling. So, good night, Nana. Marty's leaving.
See you, Nona.
See you,
Thank
Marty.
you for being here.
Good night, Marty.
Yeah, it was just nuts when they interviewed these guys, the stuff that they were talking about. It was crazy. What channel? It was on YouTube, actually. I don't know.
Whoa, Robert.
Sentinel.
Sentinel coming through again.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Good night, Scott. Scott's leaving.
Have a good one, Scott. Thank you for being here. Sorry, guys, I'm still looking for that picture. I know I've got it somewhere.
Night.
I may have to just give up because I don't want to waste too much of the show on me hunting for
Primal
this
Pro. I've
picture.
never heard them say it. Well, you're probably right, but they never said that when I was watching the special on it with the Navajo Rangers. They just said they were a tribe of people that have been here as long as they have in the New America. That's it. That's all they would say. And, you know, by their accounts, they were just saying that they were here a long, long time.
Yeah, most of the documentaries I've watched where they've interviewed First Nation tribes, they all say the same thing, that they've been here as long as the tribes themselves have been here, and probably
they actually, they talked about the Dogman also, that they have countered that. That's been here a long time also, you know. So as far as like the Wendigo and stuff like that, skinwalkers, you know, they have a belief that if you take on the pelt of a dead animal, you can actually shapeshift, and that's what they were saying. But they've never experienced that in their investigations, and they've been doing it for 20 years. These guys, so.
Fellas, I'm gonna have to give up. I can't find that picture, but I can describe it. I've got a friend who is a Bigfoot researcher here in the Ozarks, and he found this is on private land, so I can't give you the location. He had permission to be on there, but they found an area that they'd been through. They came back and near a small stream where they had just been through a few minutes before. There was a formation of rocks stacked. So they started checking the area and found a small cave. And in this cave were petroglyph type paintings on the wall. And one of them was a creature it was a painting of something that looked very much like a Bigfoot because its feet were enormous.
Huh.
Silver Fox says there's a guy on Jeff Nadolny's channel that supposedly killed 4 or 5 in Washington State. There are lots of reports of people, having firefights with these things, not just dogmen, but with Bigfoot. So I believe they've been killed. We've killed them many times. I think it's just that every time one of them is killed, government agencies get involved and the bodies disappear. Primal Christ says, I lived next to a reservation for the last 25 years and experienced both dog people and forest people. They are ancient, not the modified versions like an LBL. Well, I don't know that the ones in LBL are modified. Because sightings of dogman type creatures predate European settlement of that area. The
Yeah.
Native Americans had stories of a dogman type creature that haunted the land between the rivers long before it became land between the lakes, because that wasn't land between the lakes until 1963 when the Tennessee Valley Authority dammed those two rivers and kicked a bunch of people off their land. French trappers traveling through that area as early as the late 1600s reported what they referred to as loup-garou in that area. So dogman encounters in that area are nothing new. Richard Cox says Tasmanian tigers are thylacine, have canine and feline characteristics. Aboriginals called it a wolf. Thylacines and cynocephalus. Thylacinus cynocephalus is more closely aligned with a hyena. In some cases, yes. The one I saw was very much wolf-like. Let's see if I miss anything. Strange Road says, I wonder if there have been cryptids killed before, especially Sasquatch, where they don't report it because it's so strange. I would say that a number of times. There was a guy on the Art Bell show that said he killed one and they buried it because they were afraid they were going to go to prison. And was supposedly going to take Art Bell and a crew out there to where they buried it. And I never heard a follow-up on that. There are a number of people that reported engaging dogman in gunfights, even in more recent years. Of course,
there was a lady here in northern Florida that shot one behind her trailer, and they covered it up. And the daughters were at the house by themselves, and she pulled in, and this thing was standing in the driveway, and she shot it. And supposedly they tried covering it up. There was military out there, and it was crazy. I listened to the interview. So
yeah, well, there was even. Like on Cameron Buckner's show over at Dixie Cryptid, one of the more recent shows he just put out was a family that were being harassed, their animals killed, and they kept reporting it to the local sheriff's department. And finally, the military came in with helicopters and shot something and left with it. And the sheriff's department came to him and said, this shouldn't happen anymore. It was a rogue mountain lion. And they're like, that wasn't no mountain lion that was trying to get in our house. He's like, it was a mountain lion. And they're like, oh, okay, we get it. We get the picture. And because they basically told this family flat out that if you keep reporting this thing attacking, the U.S. Department of Agriculture is going to purchase your land. And they're like, we don't want to sell. They're like, no, you don't understand. They will purchase your land and you will move.
I don't know, Silver Fox. I know it was in northern Florida. I don't know if it was by me, in the area you. I know it was northern Florida area. It was in the north somewhere.
Yeah, it was up by White Springs up there.
I don't know. It was a real rural area in a trailer park.
Yeah.
That's all they said. So.
Testament says, the times I feel like I need to carry a rifle when I'm in the woods makes me wonder if it's something besides Bigfoot. It could be, man. There are lots of dogman stories floating around here in Missouri. I know Eric lives near the Niangua River, where I've had a lot of weird things. There's a place called Moon Valley. If you're not a local, you're not going to be able to find it. Good luck finding it on a map. But it's called Moon Valley, and it used to be a campground. And we had some weird stuff happen to us one night when a bunch of us were camping down there. But it's private property now. They shut down the camping. There was a canoe rental place there. It is all private property, and you can't get on it. But there is one little spot of public access where you can still get on there. But the section that is now private property had a bunch of old old caves in a bluff. And we found all kinds of like arrowheads and stuff up there when we were up there. I would like to be able to go back and explore those caves again. The last time I was in them, I was probably 17. Richard Cox says, if a bear or mountain lion constantly being blamed, I would get a good defamation lawyer. Yeah. But the thing about it is what the old saying, you can't fight City Hall. If Department of the Interior or Department of Agriculture is going to buy your land, you ain't going to have much say in the matter.
No, I think what he meant is if I was that bear or that mountain lion that kept getting blamed for these, the bear or the mountain lion needs to go get a good defamation lawyer.
Yeah, there you go. Porky Bean says, have you guys heard of the Dudley Forest? That's the one up in Connecticut, I believe. I think I just watched that, Mr. Ballin. Mr. Ballin just did an episode on this place with creatures seen, and it's illegal to go into this forest. Yeah, I just watched that one. It's up in, I believe, if I'm correct on this, it was up in Connecticut, and there was a family, a man and wife that bought land there, like 1,000 acres, and built a cabin, and he left her alone for like a couple of days. And when he got back, they still don't know what happened to her, but she had been driven insane. She spent the rest of her life institutionalized. But the locals refuse to even go in there. They say it's haunted. It's cursed land.
Yeah, it was on Monster 911 Silver. That's where I seen the interview.
Mondax has got a good point. Says there are dogman reports from lumberjacks in the 1800s from Michigan, Wisconsin. Exactly. So, you know, if there's something out there, be it bear, wolf, mountain lion, Bigfoot, dogman, and our government thinks they can modify, control it to use it as a weapon, they're going to try. In World War II, they trained dolphins to look for mines. They trained dolphins to have they had a harness they would put over their beak and put a knife on it and have not set mines, to kill enemy frogmen.
Oh yeah.
There was all kinds of weird experiments with animals. So our government has done it before many, many times.
They also put cameras on them now.
They even do that now. But so our government has a long history of trying to weaponize things. So I believe Dogman and Bigfoot have very much existed for a long time, but I would not put it past our government trying to weaponize it.
Thank you, Robert.
Hey, thanks, Semmel. Thanks, brother. Thanks for popping in. Trying to catch up. Werewolf says the Navy had the dolphin pens in Key West up until the early 80s.
Yeah, it was actually at their Special Forces dive school for the Army. That's where they were penned up at.
Well, Billy Dean says, would the Gugway and Dogman be related? I don't think so. I think that some of when you look at the quote unquote 7 types of dogman picture that's floating around, I think the 3 across the top are all misidentified Gugway. They're all primate like. The ones at the bottom, I believe, are actual dogmen. But a Gugway, I believe, is a Bigfoot type creature more closely related to a mandrill because it has the pronounced snout. But they describe it as, if you look at the picture of the Beast of 7 Shoots, it looks like a gigantic upright baboon. Trying to see if I can catch up with anything else.
I like Richie's idea.
Gonna raise a pet rhinoceros.
It wouldn't be much mess with you if you had a pet rhinoceros. Because them things is mean.
Junkyard Dog says, loving the stream, and I'll finish it in the morning. We got to go get up at 3:30 to haul asphalt. Good night, everyone. Well, thank you for being here, man.
Night, brother.
Good night, Junkyard.
Pam Finn says, back in 1941, a man hunting in the woods near Murfreesboro, Illinois, was attacked by a creature he described as looking like a baboon. Sounds to me like Gugway. And Ryan from Monster Radio came up with a theory that people reporting devil monkeys might be juvenile Gugway, and I kind of agree with that because there's really no other explanation that really makes sense to me about the devil monkeys. But we have really jumped down the rabbit hole off of the whole Bray Road thing. But we're still kind of on topic. I mean, we're talking about behavior of these types of creatures. One of the things I find most interesting about the Bray Road area is the number of animal mutilation reports. It's unusually high for one small area.
That documentary that Small Town Monsters did, they kind of had a good 15 minutes on nothing but those animal mutilations.
Right.
That happens.
And those are still happening even now.
Yeah. I was about to say, it happens a lot in that area, a lot more than I think actually gets reported or that people know, because that's all farmland over there. Bray Road was nothing but a couple of families that owned that.
Yeah, the Bray family. That's why the road's named that. And
nothing but huge farms out there. So that's all that area is.
Edward Kung Fu Mashburn says the Romans had a battle with dogmen 1,000 years or more. Would have been closer to 2,000 years ago, but both the Greeks and the Romans fought them. They claim to have encountered tribes of these armored and intelligent soldiers with the head of dogs in both northern Africa and in India. And there are parts of India today where the locals tell people, don't go up in the mountains in this valley because there are these dog creatures and you won't come back. Steve said, I wish people would stop breaking the law so I can watch the podcast. Well, brother, you be safe.
Yep, Steve, I feel your pain. Just trying to watch training videos today, people just wouldn't be good.
Wendy Gwizdala says, DA, I have told my Dogman story one time, and I have more that goes with it, and would like to tell someone I trust. From what I've seen, you are. Definitely reach out to me. Let me switch over and so you can get my email address. Let me put that banner up. Here's my email address there at the bottom of the screen. Shoot me an email at daroberts@daroberts.net. You can either send me the text version of your story, or we can set up a time where I can call you, or we can video chat over Facebook. But I would love to hear the story, and yes, I will be very respectful for the story. We don't make fun of anybody's stories, even ones that have a lot of what they refer to as the woo. We just accept the stories at face value because we weren't there. We can't judge your experience on what you had. But what I'm saying is none of us have had that experience. So we are approaching from more of physical evidence side. But I love hearing stories, even ones that have elements that I have not personally experienced.
Yeah, we only make fun of each other, not other people.
Yeah, we are pretty hard about making fun of each other.
Henry asked a question, DA. I don't know if that's about Nick's team or.
Has anyone heard or updated on the team in North Carolina, or is it too soon? I texted Nick earlier this evening, but I have not heard back from him. He may be in an area where he doesn't get cell service, but Nick tends to go radio dark a lot of times on text messages. I'll send him a message, and it might be 3 days before I get an answer. So I will. If I get an update from Nick tonight, I will make sure I let everybody know. But I'm not looking to hear anything from him probably till tomorrow, because they like to go out with night vision and stuff and go out at night. So my guess is he's probably hip deep in an investigation right now, and I'm probably not going to hear anything from him until sometime tomorrow. Douglas Missy says, any words on Lakeview Man series on Apple audiobooks? I enjoyed the first Lakeview Man. Looking forward to seeing you all in Ocala. Definitely looking forward to seeing Ocala. I'm going to talk to Eli, who did the first Lakeview Man book, but I want to see if he minds if we re-record that. I'm looking to probably have Doc do the Lakeview Man series. That way I've got one narrator through all of it. So we may be completely redoing Lakeview Man here in the very near future. Lene, thank you for pointing out the Patreon. Thank you very much. A lot going on over at the Patreon, folks. Short stories that are available nowhere else. Well, apparently somebody's got a dog man in the background there.
Yeah, that's my dog.
I was like, somebody better go check on Anthony. I think the dog man just got him.
No, that's Gage outside.
Yeah, he's out there barking at something. Let me take a look.
We have some strange characters that tried walking around out here that are not welcomed.
Hey.
So,
Wendy, thank you very much for that. We really appreciate it.
Get in here.
Whatever show you decide you want to support, I'm sure that it's an awesome show. We've got nothing but good things to say about other shows. We don't get into the name calling and the drama. So we're kind of a drama free zone here. But thank you so much for even thinking about us, and we appreciate everything that all of our patrons do. Naomi says, before the supernatural aspects can be proven or disproven, the animal needs to be proven. That's what's important at the moment. I totally agree. We're having a hard enough time to get the world to accept it's even out there, let alone adding in UFOs or portals and stuff, because that just makes it so much harder to prove. And again, I'm not saying that's not possible. I'm not going to be the guy that just says, oh, all of that is completely fabricated. I'm not going to be that guy. It's not inside my wheelhouse. It's not my experience. And we until we encounter something like that, we're going to continue to try to look for physical ways to explain some of these encounter stories.
yeah, it's like I've never had mine speak. Nobody in the chat has mine speak. I mean, well, in the panel, our guys, stuff like that. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I just never had it done to me, or DA, Robbie, Doc, John. I never, nobody's ever experienced that.
Yeah.
Eric Testerman says about 10 years ago in my area, there was a lot of livestock that were getting killed. The Missouri Department of Conservation said it was wolf dogs. We thought it was cougars. I wonder if it was something else. A good way to check, and this is proven true in the animal mutilations in Colorado. I can't remember the name of the town. A whole bunch of cattle killed. Some of them just killed outright. Nothing done to them. But one of the things you want to look for in animal mutilations are internal organs missing, meat ignored, and specific organs like heart, liver, kidneys. The high nutrient organs will be missing, and nothing else will be touched.
And a lot of times you could tell by the way they're pulled apart too.
Yeah, that was down in
Meeker, Colorado. Karen, awesome. Thank you. Meeker, Colorado.
In San Luis too, the San Luis Valley.
Mm-hmm.
Well, where was William talking about the horse that got his leg ripped off, and that was all?
That was Jesus. Jesus brought that up. It was on the Navajo reservation.
Yeah.
They found a horse that had its entire hind leg ripped off. It takes a lot of strength to tear the leg off a horse. Corey Cole says, have any of you considered the possibility these creatures haven't been fully unleashed yet? I think it's very much like black bears and mountain lions. And I'm just using my area as an area to be specific about. I can't speak as to different parts of the country that everybody. Robbie's in South Carolina, Anthony and Uncle John are in Florida, and Doc's out in Colorado. But in my experience in this area, after the Black Plague of the 21st century kept everybody home for the better part of a year, in some cases almost 2. We started seeing a resurgence of these animals. Springfield, Missouri, if you count the bedroom communities, is an area of about 250,000 people. This is, Springfield itself is 150, 160,000. But we've got like a dozen little bedroom communities that are right on the border. We've got Battlefield, we've got Republic, Willard, Stratford, Ozark, Nixa. All of these little towns are just right outside our city limits. So it's kind of an urban sprawl area of about 250,000 people. We are getting Ring doorbell cameras well into Springfield. That's past the bedroom communities. That's past all the outlying town places that are just outside of the city limits. That is inside the city limits of Springfield. Ring doorbell cameras are picking up mountain lions and black bears. People are seeing them in town. And I think it's kind of a resurgence of these animals that are kind of taking their territory back where once we'd pushed them back. And in a lot of cases, I think, especially when it comes to Bigfoot and Dogman, that they may be very specifically losing their fear of us.
Yeah, that's true.
Sal just had a first grandson. Congratulations.
Hey, congratulations, Sal.
Congratulations, Sal.
Hey, God bless him. No, I almost ran over a red fox on the way home tonight, but they haven't been around here in years. First time I've seen one.
We see foxes and raccoons and possums here in town all the time.
Well, we see raccoons a lot, but the first time a red fox in years.
The other night, me and my son were Nick were running to. I'm a night owl. My whole family are night owls. It was around midnight. We were making a McDonald's run, and just a few blocks from my house, we saw the single fattest raccoon I have ever seen. That thing had to weigh close to 60 pounds.
Good Lord.
My sister has one. My sister has one in Pennsylvania that comes up on a porch where she feeds all of her cats. She's got like 30 of them. She goes out, she cooks for them, goes out and puts out the food in different dishes. And this raccoon sits out there. It's got to be 50 pounds. It sits up on the back legs like this and puts its hands out waiting for his.
Yeah.
She's also got a skunk that comes up and eats with him.
Amy, thank you for the super sticker. You are awesome. Eric Testerman had a comment. He lives here in Missouri, not far from me. He said a coworker saw a large black thing at his place in Springfield this weekend. Large black thing. I would like to hear more about that. Eric, shoot me a text, and I want to hear more about that situation. Strange Road says, "Take care, guys. Got to get some sleep. Ready for the show tomorrow. Keep it up, guys. Hey, anytime. You guys have an awesome show over at Strange Road. Guys, check out the Strange Road here on YouTube. You can also find them on the podcast network. I recorded an interview with those guys a month or so ago. Fantastic group of guys. anytime you guys want to have us on, let us know, and I'm going to be getting a hold of you about having you guys on here. I'd love to have you guys join us.
Yeah, you guys take care.
Little Sly says Missouri Bigfoot and Dogman are getting hooked on meth, may need a 50 BMG. That's funny.
They're 20 millimeter. Yeah. Yeah, nice. That M60 would be nice.
Yeah, but I'm not in my prime anymore. I'm not going to be carrying the pig around.
Nah,
there's one heavy instrument.
I'd have wheels on it. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, we'd have the vehicle mount or something.
Yeah.
I don't think my little Rogue is going to support a pintle mount.
I don't know.
We'd have a wheelbarrow technical.
Me and Johnny
surplus and see if we can buy one of those old Gamma goats.
Yeah, me and Johnny weighed the SOCOM the other day after we got finished putting all the play purdies on it. It's 9.5 pounds, and even with a sling, that's you got
to go very far. It gets heavier every 20 feet.
Yep. And that was fully empty. That was no mag, no ammo. That was just bare bones. Lord.
That's too heavy.
Louis Noriega says it's like over here in California, Catalina Island has a herd of buffalo. There's about 67 of them now. John Wayne, building the movie on Kelly Island, let them go, and now they're coming all the way down to the beach because people are not going over there to visit Catalina Island right now because of the Black Plague of the 21st century. Mm-hmm. I think we're going to see a resurgence in a lot of animals. And another thing, I just sent this link to William the other day. I still haven't had a chance to talk to him about it, but they're finding an alarming number of white buffalo being born in the United States. They say it's like 1 in every million there's a white buffalo being born, and it's significant. The white buffalo is an omen, but there are dozens of them all over the U.S. right now. They're saying they're being born with alarming frequency, which has got some folks wondering what's going on. Richie Evans says, DA, did you hear about the black-eyed kids killing cows and drinking their blood? I had not heard about that. I'd only heard black-eyed kids haunting people. Thanks, guys. But, hey, shoot me a message. I definitely want to talk about getting you guys on the show. I think it'd be a good time for all of us. Little Patty says, my daughter bought me a power supply for my birthday, so my desktop is fixed. No more crap top. I am right there with you. I'm so thankful to have a computer up and running and not have to run the show off a laptop anymore.
Yep, no more crap top for us either.
Yeah, it looks good too. What are you looking at? Something flying around, Anthony?
He looks like he's got horns.
He's muted too. He thinks he's talking, but he's muted.
I'm checking out the chat. Sorry.
I'm trying to keep up with it too.
The dogs are acting up, so I muted it.
So the white buffalo is an omen. That's why I wanted to talk to William about it, because it means something slightly different to different tribes. But I wanted to get William's take on it. But the article saying they're being born all over the U.S.
What was the movie Charles Bronson was in? He was Buffalo Bill. Yep, that was a pretty good movie. I think that was that Lakota based. Was that they used the Lakota in that one?
I don't know.
That sounds familiar. Billy Dink says there was a theory that the Beast of Bray Road was a mangy bear. I've seen pictures of bears with the mange, and they're pretty wild looking. But that doesn't really match the description of people, nor would it explain a bear. Would a mangy black bear explain why it was attacking cars? That is out of the behavior for bears.
Way out.
And these people talked about being chased at 45, 50, 60 miles an hour by something running on 2 legs. Ain't no black bear I've ever heard of can travel that fast, that far on 2 legs.
Not the size they're talking about either,
I mean, bear can run
says
pretty
white
fast.
buffalo. My daughter said climate change.
Yeah, Nina.
Steve Patton says, "Here I am watching it on a crap top." Well, are you watching the show on your MDT?
Probably
If so,
in his
that's
patrol car.
hilarious.
He's in his
That's
patrol
hilarious.
car watching it. He's like,
Yeah, that's what he said a little while ago. Wish people quit committing crime so he could
"Hey Richie, what's up, man?"
Lene's
He's
using a
watching
tablet.
training videos.
Yeah, training videos.
Yeah.
I'll probably be watching training videos in the morning.
He goes, yes, I am. Laugh out loud, laugh my you know what off. So
Hey, if you know, you know, right, DA?
I spent a lot of nights in a patrol car on the overnight shift, and if they ever checked the browsing history, there would be a lot of shows like Sasquatch Chronicles and Decrypted. That was just episode after episode driving around the middle of the night.
Just think about what we used to have to do before we had these or MDTs in our car. We actually had to just sit there for a 12 hours.
Yeah, he does.
Nothing.
That's why I would listen to Art Bell on AM radio. I was addicted to Art Bell back when I would,
when satellite radio first come out, I was like, oh
yeah.
I mean, I could listen to stuff all night and just.
Now they don't have nothing on it, man. I had it in the truck when I got the truck. I was like, they don't play anything good anymore. Nothing.
Oh,
no country songs or even. I'm like, well, I've never even heard of this country song when they're playing it on satellite radio. I'm like,
I wore the comedy stations out.
Yeah, they don't even have that on there anymore. You have to pay for it now when you get your subscription for satellite radio for the comedy shows.
Yeah, they're garbage anymore.
Yeah. I use Spotify in the truck. I plug it into the phone. That's it.
Yeah, you're right on that one.
He says we're all lucky that we had AM radio in our patrol cars back in the 70s.
Yeah, that's the one I was reading.
I had AM in the old beater box Crown Vic we had forever.
Yeah, you threw a 8-track under the dash. Yeah.
Yeah.
We had a new subscriber, Lucy LeBron Hernandez. Thank you for subscribing. That is so awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Amy says Antarctica has strange cryptids, large octopus that emulate people and devour them. 1 out of 5 men survived that research. It's a story about a Russian team, I believe, that dug down to one of the lakes beneath the Antarctic ice. I need to hunt that story down. I don't know if it's true or not. If it is, it's terrifying. If it's not, it's still pretty creepy.
We did talk about that vaguely with that.
Maybe we should think about doing a show just on that.
Yeah, that would be a good one.
Yeah.
1980 CNH says Coast to Coast AM was the best back in the day. Hey, we got another new member, Spencer Davis. Hey, thank you, man.
Thank you,
became
man.
a member of the YouTube channel. Thank you so
right.
much.
Thank you, Spencer.
Yeah, I used to listen to Art Bell all the time and transitioned over, listened to a lot of George Norrie as well. Coast to Coast AM has some really fantastic episodes. I've been on it twice. I mean, it's pretty cool, but I've been on the weekend editions with Richard Surratt. Richard's an awesome host, really cool guy. Also has his own podcast. But definitely go over and check out Richard Surratt. Just an absolute awesome dude.
We used to pick up WWVA Wheeling, West Virginia down here at night, and Fort Wayne, Indiana on the AM back in the day.
Edward Kung Fu Mashburn says one of my Ann's daughters was going to college in the North Carolina mountains. They were going to cook outside. She looked outside and there was a mountain lion. Yeah, those things are getting brave, man. I think a lot of these animals, especially large predators, I think they're starting to lose their fear of us, and I think that's also showing in the number of missing 411 cases.
Yeah. We had I had the panther on my property.
Yeah.
Out there. John's
and
seen it.
that big monkey.
Yeah, John's seen it.
Oh,
Hell,
yeah.
my neighbor has a picture of it sitting on her porch in the daytime.
Yeah. Yeah. We had the bear with her cub come in and out of here all the time, come in the driveway, over the back fence, go over the other fence, and gone.
Yeah, where I'm taking DA to go look at those properties, bro, it's a lot of activity out there with wildlife, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bet you.
George Jennings says, when is Cam going to do your Red Eagle book? You mean Gray Eagle? Yeah, he's working on the first Apex Predator now. Apex Predator Wolf Moon. I talked to him on the phone a week ago, and he said he was several chapters in. So hopefully he'll have all of them recorded and start releasing them on his YouTube channel real soon.
So did I, Lene.
Mondoc says, about 8 to 9 years ago, I knew a ranch hand that came out with a sack of garbage from the trailer he was living in, and a mountain lion was lounging on the corner braces of the fence at the end of the trailer. That would have been an oh crap moment right there. Pretty sure that would be a brown pants moment.
Yeah, that's a change your shorts time, yeah.
What time is it, Doc?
It's time to get the hell up out of here.
Time to go.
1:30.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, long overdue.
Mm.
I mean, they've been seeing a lot more sightings of big cats and bears and everything up in the foothills up in Boulder. Air Force Academy. I mean, hell, they tell people don't leave your small pets out because the Air Force Academy's right up there in the foothills of the Rockies here, and they're like, we saw a bear getting into a dumpster one night when I was down there doing some duty when I was still in the Air Force. It was like
Wendy Guizdala became a new member of the YouTube channel. Thank you, Wendy.
Hey,
you were
Wendy,
awesome.
Thank you.
Sal says, is he doing Blood Eagle? Yeah, Cam's going to be doing Blood Eagle as well. I was going to say something. I completely lost my train of thought.
I wasn't on the right track.
Yeah, they are. I watched the documentary on that with the Jaguars are coming back. New Mexico, Arizona. One of the ranchers out there in Texas actually has a population of them that they sanctioned off.
Corey, I'm not logged into my email at the moment. I'll try to get that here in just a second. I said DA emailed you the pic I captured of the beast watching me from up above. I will. Well, thank you so much, Wendy. You are awesome. I remember what I was going to say when I reported to basic training back in 1988, way back. My last name being Roberts, the guy who was right next to me in line because we had to line up alphabetically was a guy named Mark Sartori. ROBSAR. We were literally right next to each other. Super nice guy. We both go in to get our heads peeled, get all the hair shaved off. And when we come out, I noticed that Mark had a double set of scars running up both sides of his head, 2 on each side. And I said, dude, what the hell happened to your head? And he puts his hand up there and he goes, oh, crap, man. He said, I kind of forget those things are there. He said, when I was 7, we were camping up in the Rockies, and I woke up to a mountain lion dragging me out of my sleeping bag. He said, if my dad hadn't been carrying a 44 Magnum, I would have been mountain lion chow.
Uh-huh.
Nice.
Holy crap.
And that happened up in somewhere in one of the parks in Montana, I believe.
Yoinks.
Let me see if I can get that picture Corey sent.
Oh hell, they got grizzly bears appearing in California again, right?
Yeah.
Ranchers have pictures and videos of them on their land now. I mean, it's been what? How long the grizzly bear has been gone out of California? Years, right?
Yeah. So like 15 or 20 or more.
Now they're coming back.
Okay, this is pretty funny. I got to show this. Corey sent this. When do you guys pull up that comment that he said about what he sent me an email?
Oh yeah, hold on. Here
I got it.
Got it. Okay. He says DA emailed you the pic of I captured the beast watching me from up above. Yeah, Corey was being stalked, and he was in danger for his life. That's awesome.
Way to go, Corey.
Good raccoon.
Corey has
Those
to
things
get
can
that
be mean.
picture
I've
and
seen
get
a
out of there
raccoon
safely.
tear a dog up.
Oh yeah, I've seen it. I've seen a raccoon jump into a bunch of dogs and beat the hell out of them.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, I just got a picture sent to me from Fred Roll too. I don't know if Fred's in the audience or he just happened to catch it, but this is what they were talking about. For look what's walking behind those moose over at the left
Yeah,
side.
I see it.
That
Yeah,
ain't no moose.
That's
And
crazy.
look how big it is in comparison to the moose.
Yeah.
God dang, yeah, you point that out. Those
Look
moose
at
are
the size
Moose
of
are
that thing.
freaking huge, dude.
Yeah.
yeah. Thank you, Fred, for sending that. That is
Yeah,
freaking
that was
awesome.
cool.
Uh-huh.
Mini moose.
I think that's from his he had that video up on his last podcast. Did you guys see it? Where that the Bigfoot was walking?
Yeah, the one behind the tree.
Yeah, and then they had the you could see the people riding their four-wheelers off to the side away from it.
Oh yeah, yeah. I've seen that one.
That was crazy.
Yeah. They didn't even they didn't realize it was there. They were just filming
No.
filming the four wheelers, and then you just see this thing in the background.
Yeah. Just walking. And that
Corey
thing
Cole
was
says my
massive.
primal instincts are solid.
Yeah.
Eric Testament says that's good eating right there. You know, Corey, I've eaten raccoon on a number of occasions, but I've never enjoyed it. Raccoon's really gamey. I don't know how you prepare it, but I've had raccoon numerous times, and I have not liked it any time.
I had it cooked in a slow cooker with barbecue sauce, and it was pretty fine.
It is not bad with barbecue sauce.
Yeah, it was pretty fine. It's like MREs and
Possum is the
Tabasco
worst.
sauce. You know.
Possum's the worst.
All depends on how you cook it.
The only way to eat possum is catch
not.
one and pin it up, and because they eat garbage. The only way you would ever want to eat a possum is pin one up for about a week and feed it like corn and like deer mash and stuff like that. Feed it a good diet for at least a week till it gets all that crap out of its system.
That's
I don't recommend a possum. That's one of those. The world has come to an end.
Hey, Doc.
Possum's kind of on that. Okay, if it's starve or eat a possum, I'll eat a possum.
Doc, that's one of them Missouri corn-fed possums.
You have to get some pot passers and meat stabbers,
Well, hell, they're eating them nutria rats out in Louisiana.
Oh,
yeah.
I've eaten that. That ain't bad.
I've
What's
never
that?
had it. Is it good?
Nutria rat. Yeah, it was in gumbo, so I didn't really taste it. Everything else, it tasted like gumbo.
Eric Testerman says pressure cook it first, then remove all the fat, then grill it. Okay. Eric, I'm going to have to take you up on that. Sometime you're cooking one, let me know, and I'll see if I can just swing by and try it. I've never had it that way, so I would give that a shot.
Cook it, throw it on the barbecue, and then throw it in the garbage.
Richard Cox says Genesis 9 says God caused the animals to fear man. I think that fear has run out. I think we're seeing that a lot.
Yeah.
Fraser George says you got to know where the stink sacks are and then cut them off, otherwise all the meat tastes bad. And those stink sacks are those are musk glands to mark territory.
Yeah.
Very much like what we were talking about people with Sasquatch sightings. That they smell a musky scent. They've reported it with other primates as well.
Night Silver.
Night Silver.
Werewolf. Good night, Silver. Thank you for being here. You are awesome, my brother. Silver Foxtrot's another old CO. So there's a reason why you get to be an old CO, because you're the guy that people don't generally want to tangle with. Werewolf 5674 says you got to make sure you get all the kernel glands out of the raccoon and cook it slow. I'll take your word for it, brother. Larksalot says muskrat and beaver are great. Have to cook it correctly. You know what I thought was pretty good? Black bear. Greasy as hell, but it was
really greasy meat.
Oh no! I killed one in Pennsylvania. I killed one in Pennsylvania, and that was the worst. Oh my God!
Silver Foxtrot, good night, brother, and you too. God bless, man. I don't know though. I really kind of liked black bear, but then again, I only had it in chili and stew. Now,
maybe somebody knows how to make it.
We had a great big crock pot of chili at the camp, and you would have to take the ladle. They had a bowl off to the side, and you'd have to take the ladle and skim the layer of grease off the top and dump it in the bowl, and then get you a bowl of chili. And when you'd come back, you'd have to do it again because it was really greasy. But if you live in a very cold climate, that grease will keep you alive.
Yeah.
Here
Well,
you
that's why they're so greasy, because they have so much fat stored up in
Exactly.
Doc, here you go. Richie Harris says that you could put a cow patty in gumbo and all the hot sauce you would.
There you go.
You ain't wrong.
You ain't wrong. Like
Corey
I said,
Cole
it's
says,
like,
my friend,
it's like MREs and hot sauce.
Yeah.
that's why there's hot sauce in them. Corey Cole says, my friend had 2 huskies that hunted and killed badgers, 11 in their lifetime. They caught a big mama coon one night and got their ass handed to them with an extra order of fries. We had a little wire-haired terrier that got tore up one night by a muskrat. Eric Christian says buffalo is good. Buffalo is
It is. I've had it.
Delicious.
Oh, that is awesome.
Excellent.
Awesome.
I've had it.
Yeah, I love buffalo. Had that when I was out in
takes
Colorado.
crocodile while in Africa. I've ate alligator several times. I like it.
Oh, yeah.
Gator is really good.
Gator's good. We've had it. We have it. You go to the restaurants down here. It's all over the place down here.
We're at the portion of the show where we've gotten to food. way off of track. But you know what kind of led us this direction is talking about animal losing their fear of it, and we're seeing that a lot along Bray Road. Farmers are reporting them coming up and trying the door handles at night. That ain't a bear. I'm telling you right now, ain't no mangy bear trying your door handle.
Well, I have
People have
video of
reported
it?
hearing
What,
them running off
Yellowstone,
the
right?
roof. What's that?
Yellowstone, the videos of the bears opening up the car doors at the parking area.
Well, yeah, but that's just a simple car door that you got to flip up. It's not like it's grabbing a doorknob and jiggling it.
Right.
That's what the farmers are reporting. Mondoc says camel's pretty decent. Never had camel.
No.
Hollister says Nutrier was really good. I had it with rice and gravy. You know, almost anything's good with rice and gravy.
Yeah.
Tell you, one of the best meats I ever ate was cougar.
Really?
Cougar is awesome. Oh my God! It's
Never had cougar.
Oh, you won't forget it if you did. It's great.
I like buffalo and elk.
Yeah, they're both good.
I think when you talk about the big ungulates, buffalo and elk are probably my 2 favorite.
Eric said it. Steve
Yeah.
Lewis said Bigfoot ain't that good to eat.
I would say it's too close to human. I really would. I would say it's
Actually, well, human ain't
much
all that
this-
bad if you cook it right.
Well, I'm
Here
talking
we
about
go.
long pig recipes there.
Here we go. Noah's not in the show, so we can't go on that.
Robert D says rattlesnake is good. I've had rattlesnake. I've had it
That's
fried.
good. I've had that.
I've had it fried. I've had it cooked in chili. I've had rattlesnake gravy, which is pretty decent. Poured over biscuits. It was pretty awesome. When I lived in New Mexico, I worked on a ranch, and you know we had all kinds of crazy stuff at a camp. Richie Evans says, Anthony, you must try my girlfriend's gator stew. Oh my God, so yummy. That
I'm
sounds
down.
pretty good.
You're not far from me, man.
Oh
Like I
yeah,
said,
anytime.
You're not
George
far.
Jennings says he likes shark meat. I
We're
had
down
shark
at Lake
one
Weir,
time.
Richie. We're down
I've
in
had shark.
Ocklawaha.
Shark was a little rubbery. Wasn't horrible. I mean, I didn't hate it, but everybody says everything they taste tastes like chicken. Not shark. Shark tastes like shark. It tastes like anything else I've ever had.
Another thing that's good if it's cooked right, turtle.
Your soft shell come out, and gopher turtles are awesome. They're
Yeah,
like
I'm talking about mud
three
turtles.
different. Oh, they're good too. Yeah.
We used to catch and eat snapping turtles.
Yep. Well, same snapping turtle, mud
Yeah.
turtle, same thing.
You
That
get
was
the
all
hog nose
Oh,
snapper.
alligator snapping turtles. Those
Well,
are
yeah, the alligator,
mean
those are the big
animals.
ones, but the smaller ones that look like that, that's what we around here we call them mud turtles. But they're
Biggest snapping turtle I've ever seen was in the Niagara River, above Bennett Springs, up at a place we called Corkery Campground. We were going off a rope swing into the water, and I just barely missed that thing and had to backpedal away from it. I swear to God, that thing was probably big around as a 55-gallon drum, and I almost landed on it. And he wasn't real happy about it. He was coming after me.
Yeah,
My uncle got one in Canada that was bigger around than the boat that we had, and we towed it to the Gananoque Zoo and gave it to them, and it was over 1,600 pounds. They said it was like 300 years old.
Sergeant Deacon says he's calling tonight. Hey, Sarge, have a good night, man. Thank you for being with us.
Night, Sarge.
Somebody said Rocky Mountain oysters. I'll pass. Thank you.
Oh, you don't want
Had
those.
them. Had them.
Once.
Well, not say it's on high on my list to have again.
They ain't
I
bad.
say once, yeah.
I've had them a few times. They ain't.
That's not my cup of tea. Eating some animal's testicles right now. I'm sorry.
Again, let's try to shove this back away from the food and go
I'll
back
eat
to
chitlins. I ain't gonna eat
Especially testicles. Yeah, let's change the subject on that one.
chitlins.
I have one time. I will never go back to it. Mm-mm.
So anyway, see what you started? Now everybody's saying about all this stuff about food.
Again, we still need to do that recipe book.
Yeah, I know.
I sent you the recipes.
Yeah, I got some. I'm not going to add to it myself. I need to start compiling that. But I've been trying to focus on getting books out, so I need to do the thing. We do want to do the recipe book because we want to send all the proceeds to the recipe book to veterans charities, specifically 22 a Day Foundation. James Jenkins is one of my old lieutenants. Hey, LT, love you, brother. He said, when I was a kid, I was night coon hunting with my grandpa and his friend Basil. Grandpa weighed out about 130 pounds. The dogs had a coon 20 to 25 pound range, treed 40 feet up a tree. Basil shot the coon and it dropped down between Grandpa's shoulders, knocking him to the ground. Then the dogs attacked. At the time, I was scared they killed him. Now I think it was funny. I would have been the same. I would have, if that happened, because I used to go coon hunting with my cousins up in Macleod County, up into Pulaski County too. But anyway, I used to go coon hunting with my cousin. If that happened to one of them, I'd have been worried at the time, but it had been one of those stories I laughed at them for years after. Karen Polson says for sure on the recipe book. If somebody wants to volunteer to help me compile it, because I don't want to take a whole lot of time away from the books, but I will collect the recipes. But if somebody wants to help me compile it, I would sure appreciate the help.
Yeah, I got to give you a couple of recipes. I told Noah I would.
Yeah, I got 3 or 4 too.
Yeah, the recipe book, the whole idea behind that was for us to compile a list of recipes. Some of them related to the books, like I will probably throw Jay Matoska's coffee in there, and maybe a few other things like Lakota fry bread and wahampi. I've got a really good recipe for wahampi. If you're unfamiliar with the books or you don't know what wahampi is, it's like stew, and it's best made with buffalo. You can make it with beef. You can even make it with chicken, I suppose. But if you could find buffalo for that, is so good. But again, we want to do the recipe book, compile this book, and all the proceeds from it going to the 22 a Day Foundation.
We weren't laughing at you, Renee.
No, I don't even know what she's talking about.
I don't either.
Yeah, I don't. She doesn't know what I saw. Let me go back and see if I can find the comment. We definitely wasn't laughing at her.
Here it is.
I have not seen another comment from her.
Me either. I don't see it.
I don't see the comment.
I don't either.
I do not see it. Put the comment back up, Renee. I don't see it.
Wendy gave us a super chat. Wendy Gizdala. Can you tell us about a couple of dogman encounters near northern Peninsula, Michigan? Used to camp by Traverse City. Yeah. Let me. I will just pull up the NADP Red website. Yeah, if one of you guys can find that comment she's talking about.
It's not there. It's not even in the
I'm not
comment.
seeing any comment.
I don't know. I looked all the way back.
Yeah, put it. If you want to put it up again, that's fine. It didn't even post on our chat.
Yeah.
Unless it's under another name, I don't know.
Here's one. Northern Minnesota, Upper Peninsula area, St. Louis County, September of 1999. First off, I'd like to keep my name confidential just for the fact that it happened on an Air Force base, and I don't know who reads this stuff. This This happened sometime in September of '99. I forget the exact date. It was early in the month, though. It was between 2 and 3 a.m. I was a security forces airman working third shift on base patrol. Now, mind you, it's an Air National Guard base that I worked at full time. It's on the north side of Duluth, Minnesota, next to the International Airport. North to northeast is nothing but large wooded areas, forest areas. Third shift on base was pretty boring, 10 p.m. to 6 a.m., and us full-timers worked a skeleton crew, usually 5 to 6 of us on third shift. I was in the patrol truck doing my usual rounds, checking doors and fence lines. Late at night on the north side of the base was usually creepy enough when patrolling by yourself. Anyway, I was on this road driving towards our baseball field when my headlights caught a pair of eyes reflecting back at me. They were almost level with me, and I was sitting in an F-150. Around this time, a few of the guys had been seeing this huge buck around the property. It was like 16-pointer or something like that. I was about 80 yards or so when I saw those eyes reflecting back at me, so I'm thinking this was a big deer. He says, I got to see this thing. So I hit the gas and started speeding toward the field. This is where it all happened so fast. It's almost hard to explain. There was a little slope behind. I lost my point. There was a little slope behind the baseball field. It sloped down probably 12 to 15 feet into a brush line. The brush went to about 30 feet, then turned into a thick tree line. The brush was probably armpit high to me and pretty tough to traverse through, being so thick. As I turned into the baseball field and turned the truck towards the thing, I just caught the rear end of the thing leaping down the slope below the line of sight of my headlights. The thing was no more than about 20 feet ahead of me when it leaped. All I got to look at was the back end of the thing, and it was big. The best I can do to describe it is say that it was wolf dog-like in nature, had a long tail longer than 2 feet, and the hind legs looked exactly like that of a dog's, same with the back paws. But the paws were huge. They were bigger than my hands for sure. The hair fur was wavy yet matted and thick. The color was blondish or very light brown. I didn't notice any gray in it, but it all happened within about 2 or 3 seconds. I sat in my patrol truck for a couple of seconds, confused and thinking, I know what I saw, but it couldn't have been what I saw. So I hopped out with my flashlight and my M16 and walked to the edge of the slope. All I heard was this thing running through the woods in front of me, heading in a northwest direction, and the thing sounded like a moose charging through the trees. It made a lot of noise. That's when I started to get really scared, thinking, if this is some sort of wolf or whatever it could be, my M16 isn't going to do a thing to this animal. So I jumped back into my patrol truck as fast as I could and headed back to the SF headquarters. I never told any of the other members about this for fear of being ridiculed or being called crazy. There's no way I misidentified this thing. I'm a trained observer and avid hunter and have worked with animal rehabilitation with the Minnesota DNR in the past. I know my animals in the North Woods extremely well. I saw what I saw, and that was the back end of a large wolf dog thing. It basically had eyes level with mine while I was in a patrol truck. The back end was definitely much larger than any of the largest deer or black bears I've seen. The points I remember are clearest were the tail and back paws, as well as the texture and color of the hair fur. This is my story. I've never told anyone for fear of ridicule. I swear it to be the truth.
Wow. Well, there's Renee's comment. That was never posted, so I didn't see it.
Okay, yeah, I did not see it. When you hear a monster running beside you, and every time you threw the Q beam over there, you can see it, but you don't know it's there. I was terrified. I don't blame you. I would have been too.
Yeah.
That night we saw, well, I think it was a dog man cross the road in front of us up near Lexington, Missouri. My wife saw it. I saw it. My son saw it, and my son's best friend Connor. I call him my adopted son because he basically grew up in my house. We all saw it. We saw it cross a span of about 50 yards. Its back, it was walking on all fours, and its back was higher than the front end of my SUV. So there's no way it was a mountain lion. If it was a mountain lion, forgive my French, but it was the biggest damn mountain lion you ever saw in your life. It was watching us the entire time, and I had the feeling like it was looking directly at me. The eye shine reflected was like green in the center, going to bright white as it expanded, and the eye shine was so bright I couldn't make out the head, but the rest of it looked like a gigantic wolf.
Where did it,
I was terrified.
I was going to ask Renee, where did this happen at? What state are you in?
Yeah, definitely. Where did that happen?
And if it happened more than once, so.
Yeah. If I saw something like that on the side of the road, that one of two things, I would have been either punching the accelerator, or me being the idiot that I am, curiosity killing the cat and all. I probably would have been trying to get pictures or get out and get pictures of the tracks. But then again, I'm kind of an idiot like that. My wife will tell you.
Yeah, we went out to the Ocala Forest, me and John, the other night, and I hooked up the I got a 500 Luma.
5,000.
5,000.
Good night, Richard.
Good night, brother. It was so foggy that you couldn't see anything.
Way to go, Richard.
Eric's Testament says, I remember when I saw the black dog, that stuff freaks you out. I've talked to a lot of truckers who have seen what they refer to as the black dog.
Yeah.
And that would be pretty freaking terrifying.
Yeah, isn't that like a legend with truckers?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you've pushed too far, you're too tired to be driving,
Yeah.
you'll see a black dog. And much like the black dog omens from old Europe, the old European legends, they were always an omen of death.
Yep.
John Cunningham says, what color were the eyes of the cat?
What cat?
I think he was talking about my sighting. I
About
don't think it was a cat. It was built like a wolf. But since it was on all fours, my wife's first instinct was mountain lion, and I'm telling you, there's no way in hell that was a
is
mountain
that the
lion.
one that you seen over in the coming out of the
Yeah.
ranch?
Yeah, up near the ranch in Lexington, Missouri. Well, outside of Lexington, Missouri. It was crossing a gravel road, went from one cornfield to another. And that thing had to weigh every bit of 800
Then you
pounds,
had
maybe
something
more.
standing behind you at the campfire.
Well, yeah, he was throwing rocks or acorns or something at my wife and at Krista. Did it several times.
With that picture, you could see something in the outline behind you in that tree line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Say hello to your proctologist there, Richard.
We're coming up on the 2-hour mark, and I have not even slowed down to mention our affiliates here. First one I want to mention is Dark Angel Medical. Folks, there are no better kits. There are no better kits on the planet.
You really want to mention him, Dark Angel?
I don't know who that guy is. He's a weirdo.
He's a little
I'm
guy.
picking on you, Gary.
We love Doc. I always text him, even though he doesn't answer me back right away. I always text him, and I get it 3 days later. Love you too, brother. I'm like, oh.
Unmute your unmute your mic.
He's muted again.
I don't have Messenger set up on my phone. So I'll check. I was like, oh shit, Anthony.
I know. I figured you were busy with work and stuff. That's why I don't bother you.
No.
Folks, if you're going to be doing anything, hunting cryptids, camping, fishing, hunting, backpacking, have them good med kit. Even if it's just a basic IFAC kit, individual first aid kit, you take some sort of med kit. A trauma kit would be preferable. Just like we just found out the other day when Jeremy Renner had his leg ran over by snow moving equipment. Had they not had a tourniquet on hand, he would have died.
Yeah.
You never know when a tourniquet is going to save your life, and get a kit that's got a tourniquet and know how to apply one.
Mm-hmm.
Dark Angel Medical is an old friend of the show, so to speak, because Carrie and I have known each other for a hot minute now. I feature their kits in my books, and I carry them in my daily life because they are the best kits on the planet. Mm-hmm. If you go to Dark Angel Medical, use the link right there, the tiny URL 3/3KAMM63Z. That should be popping up in the chat. I think Toom will probably get it. But we are a Dark Angel affiliate. Use that link and use discount code Cryptid25 for 25% off your order. And they are the best med kits in the business. And I don't just say that because Carrie's my buddy. I trusted my life to those kits when I was on duty. Those kits also come with an insurance policy. That's what I call it. It's the kit for life guarantee. You use that kit to save a life, Dark Angel will refill that kit for free for life. And Doc, how many saves have you guys got now?
We're up to 158 now.
158 people that are still walking and drawing breath because of these kits.
Yes, sir.
If you were someone you know or love as a first responder, or a second responder if you're a firefighter. Old joke there, old joke. But if you know somebody that you know or love as a first responder or in the military, and you want to get them peace of mind, a good kit, get them a Dark Angel kit. Best kits in the business, because tourniquets can and will save your life.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Tourniquet is a must for any fun, especially if you're going to be off grid going out searching for cryptids, because you're going to be away from basic 911 services, and you never know when that kit might save your life.
Right.
But, go use the link right there, or you can go to darkangelmedical.com. Use the discount code cryptid25 for 25% off your entire order, and that is the best discount they offer anywhere.
But do not use it around the neck.
Yeah, don't tourniquet the neck,
No,
even if you're tempted to.
That's bad. Typically frowned upon.
Steve Patton says the scene is safe. Send in fire. What was that other comment? Rena Freeman says the first time I ever had an encounter was when I was about 7.
Okay.
I would love to hear about your encounters. That would be
Where
awesome.
Where was this, Renee?
Yeah, where did you have your encounters at?
Yeah, where are you, honey?
Robert D says my late uncle showed me a photo on his phone of a wolf print. He put his 6-shooter gun hand down by it. He said it was at least 4 inches longer and looked to be at least 8 inches wide. That is a dogman print.
That's a big.
I would put money on that.
Print.
Damn.
That's a big one.
Slappo Stank 99 says I bought one of those kits from my music festival camping gear. Outstanding.
Yeah, good deal. You won't be sorry for it.
Eric Testament says, Renee, you are not alone. There are so many, including me, that have. Yeah, and the thing is anytime you have an encounter like that, especially at a young age, Robbie can tell you, you were what, 7 or 8 when you had your encounter?
Yeah, about 8.
That affects you for the rest of your life.
Yeah, look at him now. God.
Those, encounters like that are traumatic. And that's why I am glad that we can provide a forum for people to talk about their encounters where they're not going to be judged on it. We're not going to call you a liar. We're not going to say you're crazy, because we believe you. We've all had encounters of our own, things we can't explain. And you've got to approach these things with an open mind.
Well, it's like me. I never. John will tell you, when I had my encounter, I've been out in the woods fishing. I have not been out hunting after. And I'll be honest with you, even when I was putting the light on the truck that night where we were the other night, and he says to me, hey, watch out, something might grab you. I was like, you asshole. Because that just brought back all my fear of what I'd seen. And I'm like, just putting the light on the truck, trying to get it up there. And I'm like, and we were in the middle of nowhere out in Ocala in the forest. I'm like, man.
Renee says he stood on the side of a dirt pit, and we heard him say, I'm Mr. Woods and I live in the woods.
He talked to you?
That's not the first time I've heard someone report of them using language.
Really?
That's a wild story.
That's awesome.
And I can see how that would terrify you. I know it certainly would me.
Terrify you. Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd
be a brown.
Yeah. I'd be like, Doc, what time is it, Doc?
I'm gonna get the hell out of here.
That's it. Bye.
I'm kind of an idiot like that. My mother used to tell me when I was a small kid that I would blunder in where angels feared to tread. So I probably would have gotten myself eaten. I'm surprised I'm not a missing tool on
me
one
too.
anyway.
Me too. I just rush right in, worry about it later.
Exactly. Our other affiliate is Scallywag Tactical. If you want a good blade, folks, Scallywag Tactical is the place to go. Right now they've got blemish sales going on, and you can get even those with this discount. So head over to Scallywag Tactical, use the link or either that, or go to scallywagtactical.com. Use discount code DARoberts10 at checkout for 10% off your order. Best blades I've ever carried. Just absolute fantastic blades.
Yeah.
So now that we've got the affiliates out of the way, we will go back to talking cryptids.
They got another one there.
Yeah, that's the one I got, John. Look at the one I picked up for him for Christmas.
Nice knife. Is that the Spindrift? Is that the Spindrift?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice knife.
In the case. Yeah. Really nice. Excellent knives.
What state are you in?
Renee. Outside of Petal. Where is outside of Petal?
There goes the dog again.
There he goes again.
Robert D says
Oh, Mississippi.
1975 at age 10 when I'd seen three little ones on the side of an old bridge. Oof.
I don't know. I don't know if it's
Yeah,
Mississippi.
I know a Petal, Mississippi. That's my wife used to live there.
Could be.
Interesting.
Miss
Could
Lene
be.
got the Orca for Christmas. Orca's a great blade.
Yep.
Yeah, before we run off showing knives, I will show the Orca. This is the one Miss Lene got. Fantastic knife.
Yep.
Yeah, I got that for
Cunningham says I like Gerber knives. I do too, but I will say pound for pound, I prefer my Dark Angel blades.
I got that for
several
Bobby.
Gerbers.
I picked up the Orca for Bobby. She carries it.
You
with
scallywag?
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, Dark. You know,
Well,
I always got to say
know.
the wrong thing. But yeah, I've got several Gerbers, including a really good Gerber multi-tool. But I prefer scallywag blades to the Gerbers.
You got the
They just
little
hold
one
an
that
edge
you
better.
hang around your neck.
Yeah, they hold up. They hold up better. They hold an edge better. Just amazing knives. Amy says, Renee, my first experience was in Michigan in 1974. Sasquatch screaming in the backwoods. Adults went back there in the morning and found enormous prints. How big were the prints? When Steve Pedden says, no blades or bang bangs for me this year, just Lakeview Man books and Codename Wild Hunt books. Well, yeah, those make good gifts as well.
Yep.
Let me see if I can find any. Find another encounter story.
Yeah, I got that one for Bobby that she carries with her when she walks now. The Oracle, the one you just showed, BA. That little knife.
Oh, the little one? This one.
No, the other one that DA had. She has that
The
too.
Orca?
Yeah, she carries that when she walks.
Well, I definitely would carry something. This one, Anthony?
Yeah, she carries that. I got that for Christmas for her.
Great blade. I like it because it's got partial serrated blade on it too for tough stuff. Amy says, I don't know. They knew it wasn't human. Little Patty's heading to bed. Good night, Little Patty. Thank you for being here.
Night, little Patty.
Night, little Patty.
Not.
Night, John boy.
Good night, Mary Ellen.
Good night, Ma.
Not many people get that reference anymore.
Good
Showing
night,
our
John
age.
boy.
The Waltons.
Good old Waltons.
Good night, Jason. Good night, John boy.
Hell, I just watched the Christmas special a couple of weeks ago. The old one. Remember the old Christmas special? Watch that.
Richie had a good question. He says, I'm looking for a Bowie knife. Do Scallywag
Yes.
make them? They make
actually
one that's
have
a
one.
Bowie style knife. It is
Right here.
this one right here. It's called the Gunner's Mate.
I got the same one, DA. Look, I got
And
it.
yours is all
upstairs.
black. I like that. Mine's got the partial silver.
Yeah, I got this one. Richie.
Yeah, but
That's
it's called the
closest
Gunner's
thing
Mate.
you'll get.
Yeah, I feature the Gunner's Mate heavily in my books. Just an absolutely workhorse of a knife.
I mean, look at the spine on the back of that.
yeah, look how thick that thing is.
I mean,
That is a chonker.
and it comes with the nice Kydex case, with the nice belt, with the
Lockable
loop
clip.
on it. Yeah, it locks in.
Yeah, if you're looking for a good Bowie style knife, hands down, I recommend the Gunner's Mate. Worth every penny. Renee says all her encounters occurred in the state of Mississippi.
So that is Middle Mississippi.
Whose
All
dog
right.
is that?
Renee, if you're listening right now, and I'm sure you are, I'm from the seminary area. My wife used to live off Old Corinth Road there in Petal. So I'd like to learn more about that. That's interesting.
Hell yeah. Eric Kesterman says that's it, Gunner's Mate. I got to get one, dude. You will not be sorry. Freaking fantastic knives. Steve says, I think my department would frown if I put one on my plate carrier. Yeah, but if you want a good one for your plate carrier, does anybody
Yeah,
got the dew claw
mine's
handy?
out in the truck. I have one too.
Robbie, you got your dew claw? Because I can't find mine.
Robbie's getting it.
This one wouldn't be too bad either.
Mine's in the truck. I got it in my console.
Oh, what the hell happened to mine? It was right here.
That would be cool on your belt.
Now it's plate carrier.
Yeah,
It's not that big.
Yeah, but I think the dew claw would probably be the best one for on-duty carry.
Yeah, that dew claw does everything.
All right.
I just can't find mine.
Here it is.
Yeah, Steve, that one's called the dew claw. Perfect blade to put on your carrier. Just absolutely perfect. Sharp as hell. The blade is thick. Can take a beating. Yeah, you can use that for pretty much any application that you would run into.
Yeah, I got that one, Doc.
Just a fantastic knife.
That's the one I have in the console of my truck I carry.
Yeah, look how thick that blade is. That's pretty
Yeah.
rad.
They're just stout blades, man. They're very stout.
Slappo Stank says, does Scallywag have pocket knives? Yes, they do.
Yes, they do.
Sure do. Got some fantastic ones. Melissa Ratliff says, where's Scallywag located? Love to check it out. Most of their stuff is available through their online store, which is scallywagtactical.com. Craig Burhart lives in Florida, but Scallywag store, I believe, is in South Carolina.
Yeah, they're in Carolina.
Here's another. They've got a whole series of pocket knives, and I've got all of them, but a couple of the newest ones. And some of them you can find for as little as $12 right now. Just absolutely fantastic pocket knives. Scallywag is my everyday carry knife. I've got a kit from Dark Angel called the EDC that is my everyday carry. Plus, I've got a Scallywag kit I keep in my car. Not Dark Angel. God dang it! I keep saying the wrong stuff. I got a Dark Angel kit I keep in my car. I've got a Dark Angel kit called the EDC, the Everyday Carry Kit. Has a tourniquet on it. I carry that on my belt whenever I go somewhere. And I always carry a Scallywag blade. I got a pocket knife and or a belt knife, or probably both on me at most times. Robert D says the three little ones, Bigfoots we seen in 1975, were playing around on the side of a bridge like Spider-Man, but when we got down there, they were gone. Northeast Missouri area. Northeast Missouri. Would that be trying to think of towns up that way? I'd probably be up near the Iowa border then. What about George Jennings says, what about throwing stars? They don't have throwing stars, but they do have throwing knives. Yeah, they're called the Chucks, and you can get those for, I think, less than $20, I believe. Just fantastic knives. Steve Payton says, I have a karambit, but it's kind of a pain to get to, unfortunately. I like karambits, but, the karambits are more of a specialized fighting knife. The dew claw, however, is a utility knife. That son of a gun can be used for everything. Eric Chesterman says Hannibal area. There's a lot of dogman sightings in the Hannibal area. In fact, it's so frequent they started referring to it as the Hound of Hannibal. Up by Kirksville. I had a buddy from Kirksville. I need to get up that area and do some checking. Robert, my email is right there, daroberts@daroberts.net. If you don't mind, send me the location where you saw those, because next time I get up that direction, I wouldn't mind go checking it out. Maybe we'd do a little filming.
Richard says y'all make me jealous. Well, if you're coming to the conference, we might have some there.
Yeah.
We don't know yet. DA didn't get the response. He hasn't talked to him yet, so we'll find out. Steve says that's another reason why I avoid Hannibal area. Yeah. DA Roberts said that he'll take you there.
Well, next time I'm up that way, shoot me shoot me your contact information, and then when I get up that direction, which I'm hoping to be before too long, because I like to do a lot of my scouting areas while it's cold like this, because a lot less chiggers, ticks, and mosquitoes.
Doc, you see that comment?
Yeah.
To prevent choking or to choke them.
Or
tourniquet you can use to choke the hell out of them, but that
that's child abuse.
Richie,
I'm sorry.
We don't. There's that company called the Bee Choker.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
Little thing you stick over their face. It's got a like a sleeve or a cuff, like a mask, like a bag valve mask, but it's got a little thing that goes in their mouth and you pull out, and it's supposed to apply suction because you got an airtight seal right there. It goes over their nose and mouth. So check them out. It's called a Bee Choker.
Yep.
Renee Freeman says sometimes you feel like they're going to attack, and other times you feel like they're friends. I think they're probably either different groups or you're catching them when they're hungry. A lot of these cases, people will report, they'll have peaceful encounters, and then the next time they have an encounter, it's extremely aggressive. So I don't know if it's temperament among individuals or if you're encountering different individuals completely.
Yeah. Yeah, they're not friendly. I
wouldn't trust them regardless.
I don't trust anything hairy and walking around in the swamp. Sorry.
Yeah, I would not trust them.
You're hairy. You
definitely,
swamps.
Definitely don't gift them, especially food. I know people that claim they've done it for years and had no issues. There's something called the hitchhiker effect, and I've noticed this with a lot of people. Researchers will come back to their vehicle and it'll smell like urine. These things will follow you home, especially if your research area is close to where you live. If you go to a research area and you do your research in that area, you have any kind of encounter whatsoever, wash your vehicle before you go home. You do not want these things following you home.
Or stop at somebody's house that you don't like. There you go.
Stop there. But I don't see these. I don't see. There's no good reason they're following you home. And sometimes when these things fixate on people, they will fixate on them for life. There was one account I was reading where this guy's grandmother had an encounter when she was young, and anytime she goes back to that area, they come back out. Even now that she's up in her 70s, these things remember her. So these things, once they imprint on somebody, I don't think it's for anything good. Werewolf says lived in Hannibal, never had any troubles. Living in Monroe City now. I've heard a lot of stories around Hannibal, and Werewolf, shoot me a message, and I'll send you some of the stories. Bodie says, for scouting, what sites would you consider reliable to gauge times of year, general area, and what about following prey migrations? I don't think they migrate. What I think is much like a big cat. A mountain lion will have a 250 mile range, right, Robbie?
Yeah.
Mountain lions have a huge range.
Yeah, usually
these things, if these things stayed in one area, they'd eat everything edible in it inside of a week. They're just that big. I think these things have to have a tremendous range. Look for sighting reporting places like BFRO have a pretty good sighting database. Some of the other places like East Coast Bigfoot Research Organization. There's several groups out there, including the North American Dogman Project. Read the sightings in your area and look to see for correlating times of year. The guy over at Abnormal Investigations, I'm going to have him on the show here sometime soon too. He's finding that with a lot of Dogman encounters, that they're usually leading up to full moon. What do you call a waxing gibbous moon?
Yeah.
He said generally 90% of the encounter stories he gets, he'll look up the date and they are either at the full moon or at a waxing gibbous. So Dogman seems to be more active, much like wolves, around times of the full moon. Wendy Guzdal says, I believe one I saw tracked me every time I went to our cabin for about 4 years. And I don't see that doing that for any good reason. There's nothing, what is the word I'm looking for? I think the only way it would fixate on you like that is for a nefarious purpose. These things have a long history with Native American oral tradition of abducting women and children. And I don't see that being for a good purpose. either a menu or something worse. So if these things are tracking you and following you home, be extremely careful and don't feed them. There's so many horror stories of what have happened for people that fed black bears, let alone an upright, intelligent animal like a dogman or a Bigfoot. If you're feeding these things, one, you're either setting it up for the time you don't feed it, it comes after you, or if you're feeding him in a particular area, the next time some guy comes hiking through that area and doesn't put food out, he might be on the menu. So giving these things food and getting them to associate humans with food is a very, very bad idea. You don't want to get mountain lions to associate humans with food. You don't want to get bears or grizzly bears, any type of bear to associate humans with food, except polar bears because they already do. And grizzly bears will occasionally eat people, and once in a blue moon, you'll hear a story of a black bear that has attacked and killed somebody. So you don't want any large carnivore to start associating people with food. And I think that's why we're starting to see like Ring doorbell cameras and black bears and mountain lions inside big cities. These things are, I firmly believe they're losing their fear of man. So we may be, to quote the Lord of the Rings, look like meat's back on the menu, boys.
Yep. I agree.
Lene says, well, yikes, we have a full moon now. Yes, we do.
No werewolf. It was his neighbor that was feeding them, and she passed away, the lady. And
with her gone, it became his problem.
Yeah, they're messing with his house. He doesn't feed them.
And they're not happy that he's not feeding.
Yeah. Milos Marcetic says, how did Dogman appear on the earth? I think they've been here for a very long time. Both the Greeks and the Romans mentioned. So I think these things have been here for as long as we have, if not longer. Robert D says power lines cut is also a walkway for these things. I've heard that following these power line trails that are cut through the woods. Leon Howarth, who's a dogman researcher out of England, has noted that dogmen will follow railroad tracks because it's easier to move.
You know what else follows power lines down and around here? Deer.
What's that? Deer.
Oh, yeah.
Basically, you just made a big game trail.
There you go. Oh, yeah. And so that way they can follow their food source.
Yeah, we have them here too.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Patty, good night.
Good night, Patty.
Good night, Pat.
Robert D says riverways, ponds, lakes, and cover and food is all they need. Exactly.
Now, Renee,
that's why the majority of sightings reports are near some sort of body of water. Go ahead, Doc. What were you going to say?
I'm sorry. Renee Freeman says we're from roughly the same area. She says just beware if you're on the Leaf River. Leaf River, Mississippi is a pretty big river. And I have heard stories. Leaf River ran through a little town where my dad used to preach in Ellisville, and back in Jones County, right next to Covenant County. And yeah, man, there was some stories of some weird stuff on the Leaf River, for sure.
Pete Payton says if they're not being friendly, just throw a Kong filled with peanut butter and then exit the AO. Well, that'd probably work on the dog, man. I know a Kong full of peanut butter will keep my dog occupied for hours.
Yeah.
Renee Freeman says they're not our enemy, but they will attack if provoked. I think that's true in some cases, but in creatures like the Dogman and the Gugway, I think they are very opportunistic, and to a large extent, Bigfoot. They are opportunistic hunters. When you're talking about predator-prey dynamic, it's all about risk versus reward. Large predators do not want to take on prey that's going to hurt them, because even minor wounds, as Doc can tell you, minor wounds out in the woods, out in the deep woods, can and will be fatal. Other predators will smell the blood and come after you. So large predators weigh the risk versus reward when going after prey. If they're going after humans and that human's armed, the risk is probably too high, because there's probably very little chance they're going to come out of that. Even if they win, they're going to be wounded. Wolf says, where did I get my shirt? Amazon, I believe it was. But it's all about risk versus reward. So when you get these creatures, they look at they're going to look at the prey items and see what the benefit is. Can I take this without getting hurt? So that's why you hear about a lot of people that go missing were either disabled in some way, or elderly, or were unarmed, or were off by themselves. If you're going to be out hiking or camping or fishing anywhere in the woods, go armed. If you don't believe in firearms, carry a good blade, carry a good walking stick, take something you can defend yourself. I've been putting together a list of things, and it's just something that I'm probably going to share on my blog. But these are things that I recommend if you're going to go out camping, fishing, hunting, backpacking, cryptid hunting, that you do if you're going to be going off grid. Just basic things to keep you alive.
Or bring your ex-wife with you, like one of our people.
Or a slow friend.
Yeah. Just throw them out there.
If you don't carry anything to help yourself, carry some Tabasco so at least it tastes good to them.
Yeah. Try and taste bad.
I'm just saying.
Trying to see if I missed any questions. A.R. Harris says, so are underground gas lines. That's the place I saw my first Bigfoot. Hey, that's a good point. I didn't think about that.
Jake, he hunts 30 miles from the nearest in the middle of the Mark Twain forest. And honestly say I've never seen anything in 16 years, but I felt like I was being watched.
There are a lot of stories.
A lot of accounts of that, yeah.
A lot of stories out of the Mark Twain. One thing to bear in mind, and one of the best encounter stories I took was from a couple of college kids who were doing what college kids do. They went camping out in Mark Twain, and they were sitting around the campfire drinking, and one of them went out to go to the bathroom. While he was taking a leak, he said he was getting pelted with pine cones from behind a big bush.
Jake, you said it right here in the comment.
Yeah.
He had it happen to him.
So he goes back into camp and gets onto his buddies like, hey, which one of you jerks was throwing pine cones at me? And they're like, we didn't leave camp. What are you talking about? He said, one of you guys was behind the bush out there while I was taking a leak, throwing pine cones at me. And they're like, no, we weren't. We were all here. He says, come here and I'll show you. So they go back, they find the tree, they find the puddle where he just relieved himself. The bush is gone. It wasn't the bush that was crouched. He was crouched. He was taking a leak near one that was crouched down, and it was hitting him with pine cones. So there's a lot of stuff, including stories in the Mark Twain of researchers finding trees that have been snapped off, uprooted, and drove back in the ground. Mm-hmm. And that is a clear territorial marker. One of the theories I've been working on, and this is, again, we put out theories. We test these. What we're finding is in some of these areas where, and I've talked to a lot of people about this, especially in and around the Mark Twain, where they've made where they're doing what they call tree structures, where Bigfoot have made like archways. The funny thing is located near a lot of these archways, and I'm not saying it's all. It's just the people I've talked to about it. Near these archways, they're discovering a lot of medicinal plants. I think that's a way of marking some place where they can get medicinal plants.
Yep.
Damn, we're almost 2.5 hours in. Damn.
Wow.
Yeah.
179. Still going. Sal says I'm just going to take his katana and put it on his list.
There you go. Forrest, I've had that feeling in the woods many times where I've known I was being watched, but I couldn't find anything. These things are smart. You were probably being assessed, and if you're talking about being out there hunting, they're probably not going to get close because they know, again, risk versus reward. We got an armed dude here. Is the risk really worth it?
Renee, what meeting?
Keep it going, guys. Change that.
Melissa Ratliff says clearly the Bigfoot was pretty tolerant. If somebody pissed on me in the woods, it wouldn't go well. Well, he didn't pee on the bush; he was peeing on a tree, but the bush was just a few feet away from him.
Later, Hooter. Later, brother.
Milos Marsetic says we should search caves and underground. There is a large percentage of researchers that believe these things are either using caves as shelter, which is highly likely, or also using some of the deeper caves as highways, and that some of them may actually live down there.
Oh boy.
There's a lot of caves where I came from, up in the mountains of Pennsylvania.
Well, that's one of the things with the missing 411 cases, is if you look at the map of the missing 411 and look at where these large clusters are, and then you compare it to a map of known cave systems in the U.S., those line up almost exactly. Robert D says Miguel of Sasquatch Theory does a lot of work down Mark Twain area. And also if you look at I can't remember what the show's into the 400, I believe it is. Those are researchers here in Missouri, and that's an area that's very close, if not in the Mark Twain. I don't know exactly where their research area. I've got a pretty good idea based on some of the descriptions they've made. Got a pretty good idea. I know I could get within a few miles of it, but I don't think I could. I don't know exactly where it's at. But if any of y'all folk are here in Missouri, there's a lot of creepy crap in the woods down by Eminence, Missouri. You want to go hiking alone down there? You better take something to defend yourself, because you might become a statistic. A.R. Harris says, just about every time I've been deer or elk hunting, I felt like I was being watched. I've said for a while now that I think they've come to associate hunters firing rifles with food. I had a deer kill stolen. So many hunters have said I shot it and it was just gone. Most deers I've ever shot in my life, I've had to track for some distance, but I've always found them. But that one time, I swear to God, something stole my deer, and I still say that.
Sal's got a good question.
Question: you guys think that cryptids recognize weapons? I think they do, but I think really what their recognition is intent. It's like, for example, if you're walking down a road and a dog comes running at you, growling and barking, you ever just jerk your hand back like you're going to throw a rock? And you can see the expression on that dog's face every time. It's like, he's got a rock! It basically, it's the intent. You jack your hand back like you're going to throw. It thinks you got a rock. 9 times out of 10, that dog's going to run off. If you point something with intent at an animal, even an upright walking primate's going to recognize that's probably not good. He's not pointing that at me because he wants to say hi.
Yeah.
I think they recognize intent, and I think in a lot of cases they do recognize that a firearm is dangerous because they've observed us hunting. They see a point at something, they hear a boom, and the animal drops. They're going to go, okay, that's a boomstick. I don't know what that is, but it's going to hurt you.
Yeah.
Forrest, thank you so much. So I really appreciate all of you guys for being a positive force in this community. Thank you all. Thank you, man. This is the whole reason we do this, is to have a place where we can talk about things like this, where people don't think we're crazy. And of course, we've all know people that have had encounters that you can talk about this with. But this is a place where we can gather and talk about this kind of thing without feeling like we've got to hide. I heard this story from a buddy of mine, and you can actually say, hey, this happened to me, and nobody's going to judge you.
Yeah. Robert, Swan Lake Bigfoot.
Swan Lake Bigfoot. I don't know if I'm familiar with that channel.
I've seen it. He's I believe he's out in Alaska or Canada. He's Native American, and he has them on his property. It's a good YouTube channel, but I mean, like I said, I've never had it done to me. I'm not into the woo thing. He believes in a lot of the woo stuff, but it is a good channel. A lot of his stuff is solid that he has pictures of, eye shine pictures. But it's good. It is good. Good night, Robert. Yeah, Doc had to leave. He had some orders to fill, get some stuff done. So Robert's going to bed.
Good night, Robert. And good night, Doc. Thanks for being here, brother.
Good night, guys.
Folks, this is a good time to remind everybody, if you haven't had a chance, please hit that like button. Every like we get helps us with the YouTube algorithm. The more likes a video gets, the more that YouTube will promote it. And if you're not a member of the channel, if you hit that subscribe button, please, we would sure appreciate to have you guys as part of the family here at the DAX Machina Nation. Hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit that little bell icon so you get reminded anytime we're posting a video or going live. Wendy Guizdala says, yes, being positive helps people come forward and tell their stories. Yes. Exactly. Robert D says, I've heard of stories of them taking deer kills while the hunting season is on. We lost one large buck one time like this. Exactly. And I think that's happening more than people realize. I know lots of guys who said, I shot a deer and I tracked it and I just couldn't find it. I'm not saying that a cryptid's taking it every time. Sometimes it can be mountain lion or even wolves, but I think something was realizing, and even grizzly bears have been reported to do this, following hunters, and when they hear that gunshot taking the kill, especially up in Alaska. Got a big comment there from Louis Noriega. He says, up in the Barstow area, which is out there by the Mojave Desert, there's a lot of caves up there, but they're all sealed with rebar, kind of look like jail cells with warning signs, do not enter, keep out. They also say when Bigfoot or Dogman is here, is a gunshot is a dinner bell for them, and go get something that they don't have to hunt down or chase after. I've heard stories, Arizona, New Mexico, shooting deer and also losing their deer kill after they shot it. That's not uncommon. There's a lot of stories of them taking kills. Amy says, thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate your time in discussing the serious issue. Good night, all. Thank you so much for being here. And yeah, that's something we want to continue to do. 443 Big Vic says, love your content, DA. First time I heard of the Gugway or Janoska was from the works of David Hawley. Good sources. I write a lot of cryptid fiction, and I've used Gugway and other types of Bigfoot in the books. What I write is cryptid fiction, but from years of investigating and collecting stories, reading accounts, I base the behaviors off the creatures in my books. I base the behaviors off real encounters for the creatures in my books. So yes, they're fiction, but there is basis in reality for them. Robert D says, 1980s, there was 10 of us looking. I found the last drop of blood by a low-level pond. I would say,
yeah, there's a lot of accounts of that happening with hunters. They know where the deer went down, and then there's nothing when they get there. So.
Eric Testerman says, do you all feel like activity is ramping up? And if you do, why? Yeah, I definitely think it's on the rise. And again, just like seeing mountain lions and bears inside the city limits on Ring doorbells, I think there's a certain extent of this that there's, with the Black Plague of the 21st century, that some of these things are making a comeback, but I also think to a large extent they're losing their fear of us. Night, Sue. Night, Aussie Sue. Thank you for being here. Forrest, thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. Shy Dorsey says, Anthony, could a cryptid snatch have happened the boar you blew the leg off of?
No, I don't think so. They're just stout. They just run like crazy. They're very stout animals. I've seen it happen more than once.
Wendy,
I don't know where everybody went.
Yes, you should have more subscribers than you do. I know I'm passing your show around to others. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
You hear me,
we're still
Robin?
trying to grow the channel and get the word out there to folks. Richard Reed says, I've sent to your site by Bettina. Well, Bettina is awesome. She's been on the show before. We're going to get her back on in the near future. Thank you for coming in and checking us out. Totem Whisper says, hello from the middle of the Alaska Triangle, where the weird is every day. Missed the beginning, just found DA's channel, read 80% of your books. Off topic, are you going to make a new timeline? Yeah, it should be updated on the website, and I'm going to start putting them in the backs of the books. We lost you there for a second, man.
Yeah, I know. Everything went haywire. John, too.
I lost everybody. I was sitting here by myself.
Sal Paso says, I'd like to see a Bigfoot. In all the years I spent hunting and never saw one. Then again, I saw bear and coyote tracks, but never seen either in the woods. Maybe someday. I am sure you spend enough time out there, it's going to happen.
We got
Let's see if I
somebody
missed something.
from the middle of Alaska Triangle.
Yeah, I just had that one
right
up a
now.
minute ago. Yeah, a lot of
Uh-oh.
stuff happening in the Alaskan Triangle. In the Alaskan Triangle alone, which Alaska is pretty much the least populous state, even though it's the biggest by landmass. In the Alaskan Triangle alone, over 60,000 people have gone missing in the last 30 years.
It's a lot of people.
Wow.
And according to NAM US, which tracks missing persons in the United States, and across the U.S., that's all states, including Alaska and Hawaii, 600,000 people a year are reported missing.
That's
and I'm not
nuts.
saying cryptids did all that, and I'm not saying that many of them weren't recovered, but 600,000 a year is a lot of people to go missing.
Good Lord,
Werewolf
yes.
is leaving. Night werewolf.
See, werewolf.
Good night, werewolf.
Well, we've talked about that before, though, D. I mean, even if you took
Night werewolf.
a quarter of that 600,000, say a quarter of that is cryptid related, that's still a whole lot of people.
That is a whole lot of people, and that's not even counting homeless that go missing because they don't get reported, or undocumented people that they don't get reported. They're not going to go to the authorities and say, "Hey, you know, my cousin Tom went missing," because if he's not a U.S. citizen. One, if they find him, they're going to deport him, and two, they don't. The people that are undocumented do not trust law enforcement. And I get it. I mean, if they get caught, they're going back to wherever they came from. So, if somebody goes missing, it's just not going to get reported. Same thing with homeless.
All right.
Richard Reed says there are no Bigfoot on the small islands, only big countries. Trying to see if I missed anything. Aussie Sue, I think she already went to bed, but she said, "Did you ever think maybe they're getting pushed out toward us more?" Maybe. I know we're, as we, develop more land and push farther into the woods, and we've got a lot more people that are going back country hiking than have ever done it before. It kind of become vogue for people to do these backcountry, bushcraft, trying to go live off the land in the deep countries. Some of these places, along the Appalachian Trail, there are so many people that go missing. Up in the Rocky Mountains, people go missing. Alaska, a lot of people go missing. And the odd thing is that a lot of them are going missing in or around state parks.
Yeah.
Especially the big ones. I believe Yosemite is the biggest hotspot for missing people.
Sal's going to bed. Good night, Sal.
Good night, Sal. Thank you for being here, man. Rico Rick says, "I've had experiences with things I couldn't explain. With that, I can say that most people in this area are BS. These individuals are the original people." Yeah, I would agree with that to an extent. I think they've been here as long, if not longer, than us. And I think the advent of, especially weapons technology, as that improved, is what put us on top of the food chain. But I believe at one point they hunted us. And to an extent, I think they still do. Wendy says, if you don't have already, you definitely need to get some merchandise so we can advertise you. I do have merch, and I'm going to be updating it. Let me go ahead and put that link up. Where's that?
Night, Sal.
There we go. That's the link's right there. It's merchshop.daroberts.net. I've got Wild Hunt and Codename Wild Hunt and Apex Predator and other T-shirts over there. Got some NADP, North American Dogman Region 2 stuff over there. I'm currently updating the DAX Machina stuff. We're going to have DAX Machina shirts soon. Shane over West Coast says correct DA Yosemite is, unfortunately. Shy Dorsai says the late Butch Wachowski had figures on missing and it's scary.
Amy's still there.
She's still there. Awesome. Eric Testament says, "I've noticed activity picking up here at my place a lot more than what it used to be. And I think I don't think it's so much that we're pushing more into their territory as they're losing their fear of us. I think we're going to see a lot more of these encounters over the next few years. Louis Noriega says that's true about Yosemite. They just closed the northeast side of the back part of the park, and they don't want people going back there for anything. Karen Polson's heading to bed. Says blessings to everyone. Good night. Good night, Karen. Thank you for being here. You are awesome.
Good night, Karen.
Boys, we are rapidly approaching the 3-hour mark. I think we'll start wrapping things up.
Yeah.
I'm about to lose my voice. I've been getting steadily more hoarse over the last hour or so.
Bobby, you got to work tomorrow, right?
Yeah, I got to go back in tomorrow.
You've got to go in early.
Yes, it is time to start the Ozarks. Good night. Probably take us 15 minutes or so to say good night. Again, don't forget our affiliates. Check out where's that? Yeah, check out Scallywag Tactical. You can go to scallywagtactical.com or the link right there, which is you can copy it off the screen. I don't want to say it out loud. But use discount code DARoberts10 at checkout for 10% off your entire order. That includes the sale they're running on what they call blemished blades. There's nothing wrong with the blemished blades. It's usually something wrong with the box or maybe a small scratch you'll never see. Some reason they can't sell it as new. I bought several of the blemished blades, and they were perfect.
Yeah, I got them. I got them for Christmas. There's nothing wrong with them.
Nothing wrong with them.
So head over to scallywagtactical.com and use discount code DARoberts10 at checkout. Make sure you let them know we sent you.
Shane's leaving. Good night, Shane.
Shane, good night, brother.
Good night, Shane.
Hey, good night, Shane.
Good night, brother. Thank you for being here. Also, check out darkangelmedical.com. You can use the link here. Just go to darkangelmedical.com. Use discount code Cryptid25 for 25% off your order. And again, let them know we sent you. Best medical kits in the business. And I'm not just saying that because Doc's
absolutely.
I'm not just saying that because Doc's my friend. I'm saying that because I trusted my life to those kits, and I continue to do so. So, show Scallywag Tactical and darkangelmedical.com. Show both of those some love and let them know we sent you. Robbie, tell us about your show.
My show is What's Really Out There. Norman and Johnny and I, just kind of a little shorter version of what we do here. Most of the time we get into cryptid, paranormal type stuff. The Men in Black episode that's supposed to have been out, I don't know what's wrong. I got Tyler's working on that right now. But other than that, I've got episodes set to come out all the way up to January 20th. And like you and I were talking last night, DA, there's a lot of stuff going on in the work, so we're trying to get ourselves ahead. But we got when we get it fixed, we got the Men in Black episode, and we've got an episode on a Cherokee legend called the Wampus Cat. We got a episode about a lake in North Carolina called Lake Norman. There's a thing called the Lake Norman Monster. We did an episode on that. We did a Christmas special that's not going to be making it for Christmas, obviously. But we did one on the Krampus, and we did one on Christmas elves. So that's 2 separate episodes. So that's what we got lined up coming out here in the month of January.
And you are going to be on what show tomorrow night?
I'll be on Country Boy Cryptids tomorrow night. Norm and I both will be with Country Boy himself. I don't know if he's still in the show or not, but
and where can they find your show?
You can find us on Spreaker, iHeartRadio, Spotify. Those are the bigs. We're also on YouTube. What's Really Out There. You can get in touch with us on email, what's really out there 2022 at gmail.com. So, yeah, if you want to check us out, like I said, it's just a shorter version usually of what we do here.
443 Big Vic says, were the Wild Hunt flags a limited run? Would love to have it added to my collection. The Wild Hunt flag was kind of just a one-off thing. It was done, actually Norm, a friend of ours, made it for Anthony and sent it to him. But I'm going to find out where he had that made and see about getting him.
Yeah, now the wooden one over Anthony was not done by Norm, though.
But I don't think they can quite see that one on the air.
Right there.
Yeah, those were custom made by Robbie. Mine's behind my green screen, or I'd show it.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say a big
Cat,
thank you to all of our
That's heading
mods.
out tonight, man. Good night in the ER.
Yeah, be careful. I know how the ER first responders all know how full moon affects your call log. But folks, thank you guys so much for being with us. We are so grateful for you guys spending your evening with us. We're coming up on the 3 hour mark, and we still got 142 people checking us out. Thank you guys so much. But thank you so much to all of our moderators who've done such an awesome job tonight. Thank you to all the patrons over the Patreon community. If you want to take part and check out some of the short stories that have not been published anywhere else and want to help shape the future of the DA verse, go to patreon.com/DA Roberts Author and check that out. We would appreciate you guys being part of the Patreon community. Big thank you to all the members of the channel who are members of the channel here at YouTube. Again, thank you to the patrons over at Patreon. Moderators are awesome. Love you guys to death. Thank you so much for doing such a wonderful job. And again, we'll say it many times. I've said it before. I'll say it again. We don't have fans. We have friends. Thank you guys so much for spending your evening with us and taking the time out of your night to hang out with us and talk about cryptids and monsters and things that go bump in the night. And we will do it again on Saturday night. So check us out here at DAX Machina every Wednesday and Saturday night at 8 p.m. Central Time. Again, I hope you guys will join us on Saturday night. I haven't announced the topic for the story yet because we're still kind of working on it, but it should be up in the next day or so. So make sure you hit that like, share, and subscribe. Give the video a thumbs up if you think we earned it. We would love to have you subscribe to the channel, and please share the channel with people that enjoy this kind of content, because we are still growing, and we would love to be able to reach a bigger audience and get people more involved in the stories we tell and the encounters we share. Steve Patton says, back to work night. Y'all be safe and see you next time. I'm 10-8. All right, brother, you be safe. Thank you. Thank you for everything you do. A big thank you to all of our first responders and law enforcement and military out there, folks that keep us safe and face the things that we all fear. Robbie, you be careful on duty tomorrow. Again, just
Always.
a huge thank you for all our first responders, and that's law enforcement, firefighters, EMTs, corrections, security, all the people that are putting their butt on the line so we can sleep safe in our beds at night. And thank you to all the men and women of the military that are out there putting it on the line every day. So thank you all. Bless each and every one of you guys. Appreciate you guys spending time with us. Hope you have a wonderful new year. And we look forward to doing this again on Saturday night. And you guys got anything else you want to add?
No.
If you haven't had a chance to check out my books, I've got multiple series, but some of them are cryptid, some of them are zombies, some of them are sci-fi. Hope you guys will check it all out. Go over to daroberts.net and check out all the books. And I would love for you guys to check them out and hear what you guys think. So thank you guys. Thank everybody. Keep Miss Lene in your prayers, because her health has been it's improving, but she's got a road to recovery. So we'll keep Miss Lene in your prayers. Say a prayer for Tombstone. I didn't really see him much tonight. I don't think he was here. Him and his wife
for a very little short bit.
Him and his wife are going through some things right now. Again, not my place to say, but keep Tombstone and his wife in your prayers. Keep Miss Lene in your prayers, and thank you guys for spending time with us. So hope you guys had a good time tonight. I hope we earned that like, share, and subscribe. Let us know in the comments or in the comments beneath the video things you would like to see in the future, because we are still planning shows for the coming year. And thank each and every one of you guys. Thank you guys so much, and I hope you guys have a wonderful night, and we'll see you this weekend. Good night, everybody.
Night, everybody.
Thank you for joining us. Catch us again Wednesdays and Saturdays on DAX Machina. A special thanks to all our channel members and Patreon supporters. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe.